Thoughts?
I have exercised the demon.
That is definitely recent because the rodeo's going on. That looks like Roki's mechanics.
It's like old, long, and skinny.
Now, time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour one, Jon and Jim. We've got you covered for the next 4 hours. We have Aztec basketball tonight. Glazer, formerly Baseball America, will join us at 2:30. Jim, we're in this like precarious spot right now where we're hanging on every bit of information. Yesterday it was, oh my gosh, look at this video from Roki Sasaki inside Petco Park that you tweeted out and it went like viral and everyone's mad. And then today, we learned that the Dodgers will get their second meeting at some point today. It could be going on right now, according to The Athletic, and they're planning to bring all their stars to this meeting with Roki Sasaki. And it's like yesterday we felt pretty good about this because Sasaki's throwing at Petco Park, and they get this in-person meeting over the weekend. And now today, who knows what's going on in LA? His second meeting. Presumably Ohtani, Yamamoto, Betts, Freeman, and others taking part of this. So, like, I just feel like we're just, like, flying by the seat of our pants. Anything that I see, I'm like, oh, that's really good news. And then I see something else. I'm like, this is done. He's going to LA.
I felt so good yesterday afternoon when we saw the video surface of Roki at Petco Park throwing to what we believe was Ethan Salas.
Right.
You got Joe Musgrove there, Yu Darvish, AJ Preller. He's wearing Padres gear, boots on the ground here in San Diego. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start seeing people like Bob Nightingale. Padres feel like they're the favorites.
That's when it gets scary.
That's when it does get scary because you're like, oh, don't do this to us. Don't do this to us. And what did I say? I said, I don't even remember what I fully said, but I do remember I said this. Of course, every single team that meets after with Roki that has an in-person visit is going to say they feel optimistic. I'm sure the Blue Jays are saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Padres said the same thing. And today it's being reported while Roki is meeting with the Dodgers, who are pulling out all the stops, right? All the star players, red carpet treatment for Roki in LA, yada, yada, yada. The reports are the Dodgers feel very optimistic about landing Roki Sasaki. Every team that has had the in-home visit, right?
What is this, like college football?
Using a bachelor term. The
hometown?
The hometown, yeah.
Are they in the suite though? What's it called when they spend the night together?
The fantasy. No, not the fantasy.
Are we
suite.
in the fantasy suite? Yes, it is the fantasy suite. You get the card. Yeah. And they bring the cameras in for a moment.
Do you want to go
to
the fancy suite with me? And every time the person says, abso-freaking-lutely.
So do you feel like the Padres went to the fantasy suite and felt good about it, but then there's other guys that are going to the fantasy suite with?
Potentially, yeah.
With Roki?
I kind of think this is more of like a hometown than a fantasy suite situation. Because fantasy suites, they go to a exotic destination.
But dude, this is it. This is the end. They do fantasy suites right before he picks or she picks whomever she's going to end up with.
But the fantasy suite, like I said, it's like
eating strawberry and drinking champagne.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like an exotic suite. The hometowns are where you go to that person's home.
You're right. LA, San Diego. Yeah,
and that person shows you around. And you meet their family members, and the family members grill the person about, are you going to take care of my son or daughter? And you're going to pick him.
Do you think that was Manny? Manny was like, do you believe in team chemistry? I don't. What is this? High school baseball? He's like grill.
He's like, what? I felt good yesterday, but today I feel awful. Today
you really feel like this is over,
today,
right?
I feel like it's going to be one of those situations where we've gone this entire time, and the Dodgers have been the favorite the entire time. And of course, he's going to pick LA.
Well, what has changed today? We knew they were getting a second meeting. How would he get a second meeting with Toronto and San Diego, but not with the Dodgers? So what is not a real word? Okay, I couldn't say it. What has drastically changed between yesterday and today? An official meeting with the Dodgers that we knew was already going to happen.
This is what's changed in my mind, and it's a simple little detail. But yeah, am I going to run with it? Absolutely.
Okay, I'm listening. I know what you're going to say. You're going to talk about the international prospects.
That is 1A.
Because there's reports that the Dodgers are bailing on international players to accrue the money for Roki.
Yes.
Okay. there were those reports with the Padres. Now, Hector Gomez put together a list of international free agents, and among the list, he had a Padre in there that was expected to sign for $2 million. But I think that's before the Roki news. I don't think the Padres are going to sign a player for $2 million if Roki's like, I'm not sure where I'm going.
We'll know more tomorrow.
Correct.
As far as international signings go. If the Padres end up signing somebody tomorrow, then I'll be like, okay, it's over. If the Dodgers sign up someone tomorrow, then I will think the Dodgers aren't going to get him.
Right, got a shot.
I think this thing could go quickly as far as like what team won't get them or feel like they're not going to get him, and they're going to sign some international players because they don't want to be caught in that no man's land where they're waiting for Roki while the players they have ready to go are like, yo, we can't wait any longer. We're going to go sign somewhere else.
Yeah, but here's what I'm not just thinking about them not signing anyone tomorrow, Jim. I'm thinking about them. Here's what I want. Here's the good news indicator for me for either a Padre fan or a Dodger fan, or in theory, a Blue Jay fan if they exist. The good news indicator is they make trades to acquire more international slot money tomorrow.
So I need like
if
10
the Padres
trades
are
from
bringing in money tomorrow internationally, I'm going to be like, they really feel like they're on the verge of landing Roki Sasaki. And I'll say the same thing about the LA Dodgers. But you and I have been texting back and forth, and we're like, we're joking. We're like, yeah, this thing's over. I actually don't think anything has changed since yesterday. I think that he's meeting with the Dodgers for a second time. That was an inevitability. He was always going to meet with the Dodgers a second time. Now, I always want to be the closer. Because I said yesterday, being second to the Blue Jays was good, and I didn't know where the Dodgers were in there. The fact that the Dodgers are the closer, I don't love that.
No,
but them
I'm
getting a
terrified by
second
that.
meeting, it doesn't scare me.
I'm terrified by that. The international signings and the fact that the Dodgers get the last crack at Roki. You always want to be the last person or last team to meet with that player. You just do. It's like being first is last almost in this situation. And the Dodgers were perceived as the favorites from the beginning. How I view it is, if that is to be true, and in Roki's mind, he was thinking, okay, I feel like the Dodgers are the best place for me to go, but I'm going to give all these other teams a chance, and I'm going to go and have an open mind and go to Toronto and go to San Diego, but I'm going to end with my team that I've always, felt like that was going to be the likeliest destination for me, just to make sure that the decision I make, after seeing everything, this is the right decision. And that's what I'm scared of, is the fact that the Dodgers got the last crack at Roki the day before he's eligible to sign. Yeah,
I mean, did it look like a great field condition when Roki was throwing on field during the rodeo and the field was all torn up?
It won't be good in LA because LA's like
I know they're doing all these renovations, and honestly, it's clearly not coming down to that.
It's like this
field
think, sucks,
dude. At the end of today, he knows where he's going. There's no way. It's like The Bachelor. We watch the show. I know that they know who they're picking well in advance of who they pick. They pretend like they're going back and forth and waffling on the decision. You've met with all parties, to your point. The Dodgers have last licks here, so to speak. There's no way after today he's like, ma'am, hey, Joel, let's get into the war room and really let's cross the boxes that the Padres cross and let's cross. No, he knows. There's no way a posting period's about to end. He spent weeks in Los Angeles and he doesn't know what he's going to do.
Because what you want to do is you have a favorite in mind and you want to ask and shore up any last minute questions you have with your perceived favorite or the team that you have as a front runner in your mind. In that case, kind of feels like it's LA. And like we said yesterday, if and when Roki were to meet with the Dodgers again, which he is meeting with the Dodgers again, and they pull out all the stops, it's really hard to compete with that. It's hard to compete with them walking through a door with Shohei Ohtani holding a World Series trophy, followed by Yoshinobu Yamamoto, one of his good friends, and then Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Blake Snell and Andrew Friedman and so forth and so forth. Like, that is hard to compete with from a level of like, hey, we have these players to help woo you.
Let me give you the analogy, because sometimes you got to carve your own path, though. Yeah, there's no doubt he has good relationships with Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Shohei Ohtani, and there's no doubt that the Dodgers are at the top of the sport. They won the World Series. But I'll give you the analogy. It's like all your buddies are going to one college. Doesn't mean you have to go there. Like just because all your buddies are going to the University of San Francisco doesn't mean you can't go to San Diego State. Or just because all your buddies are going to SDSU doesn't mean you can't go to UCSD. Like there's pros and cons of all of that. He knows Yu Darvish. He knows Hideo Nomo. He has other relationships in the sport. I don't think it's solely based on the Dodgers pulling out all the stops because they are capable of doing that. You're right. Can they make the better recruiting pitch? Can they woo and enamor more than the other franchises in baseball? Yeah, probably. But if it was solely coming down to that, then it's an easy decision. But I don't think it's been an easy decision, truthfully. Why would you fly to Toronto? Why would you go to San Diego?
To see everything. I mean, make sure you don't have any stone unturned. You see it all, and that your decision when you make it is, okay, I saw everything that I needed to see. I don't have any question marks about anything. I don't have any what ifs. Like, I wonder if Toronto was maybe better than here or wherever he ends up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now he goes, okay, I met with Toronto, I'm good. Or I met with San Diego, I'm good. I met with LA, I'm good. All right, all of that. But at the end of the day, my favorite was still X team, and nothing really changed my mind too much. It only solidified it that team who he had at the front of his list when this thing started, because there was obviously a team in the front of his list, and it's probably the Dodgers.
Well, my sneaking suspicion in the whole process was, why are you coming over as a 23-year-old? He must know more than I do. Like to come over to the States now and not have a favorite and do this completely blindly seems almost irrational. You're just coming over and you're just going to figure it out on a whim, or did he have a favorite in mind? Joe Wolf has repeatedly shot down that idea that the Dodgers were the favorite immediately, that this was a handshake agreement, that this has occurred behind closed doors. But, I mean, people are people. It's like we see what plays out in the NBA. The players call each other like, yo, let's play together. Like, it's so simple. It's so simple to, what's the word they use in the NBA? Like, they're so simple to like mess with the process. What's the word I'm looking for? Tampering. It's the easiest thing in the world to tamper in this process. You go on WhatsApp and you text back and forth with someone for an hour about the team you want to go with. Like, I don't see how you could stop someone from doing all the legwork before you're posted and basically picking your spot before you're allowed to do that. How do you stop that from happening? And the fact that he's coming over as a 23-year-old and everyone has said the Dodgers are the favorite. Why have they said that? And why is he coming over now?
I don't know.
Because the media doesn't like him in Japan, that's what scares me about LA, just that it was like a deal that was done long ago.
Yeah, but the agent, Joel Wolf, is not going to come out and say, by the way, we're going to have a quote unquote fair process in this whole entire recruiting, but he has a favorite in mind. No, by the way, it's LA.
Right. No, you're right. I agree with that. I agree.
And I don't know how much sway being close with Ohtani and Yamamoto is going to have, because that could be a big factor. And it's not just choosing LA to hang out with your best friends. You're going to an organization that's pretty buttoned up. Like you're not going to have any change in the organization for the foreseeable future. Dave Roberts is your manager for a long time. Andrew Friedman is president of baseball operations and in charge for a long time. Ownership group Guggenheim's long time.
Long.
You aren't changing a thing up there. Remember that little like quirk in the Ohtani contract about like
cork or quark?
Quark. Did I say cork? Quark? Whatever the word. Quirk. Little.
Are you talking about a quirk or a cork?
No, a quirk. I'm talking about like a little tiny detail.
Not the thing in the wine bottle?
No, not a cork.
Okay.
A quirk.
What quirk?
The quirk of, if Andrew Friedman leaves,
I can become a free agent.
Ohtani essentially can become a free agent because he wants stability and Andrew Friedman to remain there.
All right, much more on this on the other side, because we're trying to hold on to any glimmer of hope. We'll hear from Steve Phillips, MLB Network Radio, on his thoughts on the Padres and the Dodgers for Roki. Plus, the Padres did make a move today for a Japanese right-handed pitcher.
Oh, perfect.
And by Japanese, I mean he pitched in Japan last year. So we'll share the details on that. On the other side, we're here until 6 p.m. It's Jon and Jim. Kyle Glazer, formerly Baseball America, will provide his thoughts on the Roki Sasaki sweepstakes. We could have an answer as soon as tomorrow. I think that's a little optimistic to have an answer. Are you sleeping tonight? Am I going to? Yeah. It's going to be a late night. The Aztecs played 8. So by the time post ends, it's 11, which is already the next day, East Coast time. But nobody can sign until 6 a.m. Pacific on Wednesday. I'll sleep. I'm sleeping. I don't think we're going to get news, although I'm worried about the Jeff Passan tweet. I don't think he's actually going to sign.
How does this not break before the end of this weekend is my question.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think
too much noise.
I think once Roki knows, I think he's going to be respectful enough, or at least the process, they're going to treat it as such, knowing
drag it out.
Not to just drag it out, but knowing like, hey, look, the two teams that I'm not going to pick, they need to actually still, make moves, and they need to figure out the rest of their international signing class. And if I don't go there and I drag this out, potentially that team could be screwed because they're waiting for Roki. Like, you're not going to make a bunch of trades to acquire international pool money if you don't have wind that you're getting them.
Yeah, but you have to take a leap of faith and just do it. It's like you applied for a job that you really want, and you have an outside the box idea where your wife is just like, Aaron's like, you know what? Why don't you just drive up and go to their office? Like, well, I've never done that before. But this is a dream job. This is a player that comes around every 8th year. Like the last time they pursued someone this heavily internationally, it's not every year you're pursuing this caliber of player. Maybe it's every 5th year, every 10th year. Otani, was 8 years ago at this point, or 9 seasons or whatever it was, 8 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
At this point, I just feel like desperate times call for desperate measures, which means even if you don't know, but you think you got a shot, you got to do things to show to him that you're pot committed, that you're all in. Not if you know he's going to sign with the Dodgers, then you're an idiot. But if you talk to Joel Wolf and Joel says he wants to see the steps you're taking to lure him, then I think you take the steps that are necessary, even without the assurance that he's coming your way. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I just hope that it gets resolved quickly so we aren't waiting around. And more importantly, these teams aren't waiting around because they have to get S done. And to sit here and wonder, all right, where's he going to go? Like, if today is truly the last meeting with the team, with the Dodgers, like his last meeting, he's not having any more meetings within your team. Why do you need like 4 or 5 days to decide?
I think it was so these teams can free up some money and provide him with more resources to sign.
Okay.
And by the way, to what you just said,
is $1.5 million going to really make a big difference?
No, but I guess at the end of the day, if he can have another $1.5 million, you're going to give it to him as a show of good faith. At the end of the day, what you're saying, and I understand it. Let's say at this point the Padres are like, you know what? Why are we acquiring international slot money? We have no assurances he's coming here. Let's go sign X, Y, and Z, or let's wait this process out without taking on more money. To me, that's like you get to the 1 yard line and you're like, I'll kick a field goal. Like, you got this. It's the 11th hour. We've talked about this for 44 days.
Scared money don't make money, bro.
Thank you. Like, AJ,
trade everything
this is the time,
for international pool money now.
This is the time to buy another phone if you're AJ Preller. He should be more on the phone.
Buy another Toyota Corolla.
Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, we've been talking about it for 40 days. He talked to Peter Seidler about their infatuation with Roki Sasaki.
Do everything you possibly can.
Yes. And if it doesn't happen, so what? You haven't done anything else.
Yeah. It's not like you're going to not field a team next year.
Okay, so you can't sign JB Wendelhecken or whatever his name is?
JB Wendelhecken.
I mean, they already signed JB Wendelhecken.
Wendelhecken.
It's not Wendelhecken.
It's Wendelken. JB Wendelken.
Minor league deal, really good numbers in Japan, right-handed reliever. He'll likely be on their opening day roster. It's a minor league invite, but he had really good numbers in Japan. But with all due respect to JB Wendelhecken, I don't care. They could do these moves, is my point, Jim. They can do these, even if they go all in on Roki Sasaki. They're paying this guy nothing. It's a minor league deal. If this is how they envision finishing out their roster, so be it. It has nothing to do with Rocky or Roki.
How many minor league invites are there going to be to Padres camp?
I mean,
year?
they're gonna
like 20.
They're gonna outnumber the major league invites.
Dude, every single move that they've made this offseason has been a minor league deal for a player. So they haven't even officially made
No, that's not true. Come on.
Oh, Tyler
Clean
Wade,
up.
sorry.
Yeah.
That doesn't count, really.
I was in Logan, Utah when that happened. It was forever ago.
And you're like, hey, talk about Tyler Wade.
That was your only thing you were on a solo show.
Yeah,
I was in
dude.
Logan and you spent 4 hours talking about Tyler Wade.
Yeah, it was awful.
Then the day after the World Series, you didn't mention the Dodgers for 4 hours on a solo show.
Oh, that was very difficult to pull off. But
again, I don't know if I'm AJ, if I'm John Seidler.
John Seidler.
Like, if nothing else,
does John Seidler know who's Roki is?
Hey, what were you guys doing yesterday during the rodeo?
Why are you guys having a big old meeting?
That? I'm just saying, like, I can't punt now.
They're not punting, John. But they also
I'm going further all in now.
But there also has to be like a deadline.
Well, yeah, if he says, hey, sign with the Dodgers, like, no, like, you can't like pull him.
But there also has to be, there's probably a point of no return. There's also probably a drop dead. If we don't hear news by this day, we might have to push forward with some things. Or they are just going full YOLO mode and just waiting this thing out, signing the international prospects or not signing international prospects, be damned. Like, it's Roki or bust during this international signing period.
I'm trying to think, who are some players in the last decade they've signed as an international player?
Yeah. Also,
that have paid. It's not like they're going to hit on all these players that they're going to miss out on.
Let's be 100% real here. It doesn't freaking matter because none of the guys they sign are going to turn into anything anyway. That's the people that care the most and deservedly, and they do an amazing job, is our friends over at Mad Friars. This is like part of like their offseason Super Bowl is International Signing Day.
Sure.
And I'm sure we'll talk to them coming up, in the coming weeks about whatever moves they make. But let's be real here. Give me one move they've made so far that's paid dividends at the major league level.
I mean, you'd like to think Leo DeVries. You'd like to think Adrian Morahone. But yeah.
Ethan Sal. Okay, stop. Like until I actually see it, until it actually turns into something, give me a break.
All right, on the other side, Kyle Glazer. He's got more insight on this great baseball voice. He will join us coming up next. Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Bill Howe Plumbing. San Diego State takes on Colorado State tonight at Viejas Arena. 8 p.m. tip time, 7 p.m. pregame right here on San Diego Sports 760. And last night, the final game of Super Wildcard Weekend, Rams beat the Vikings 27-9. Rams now move on to the divisional round where they will take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Traffic may be slow, but your drains don't have to be. The experts at Bill Howe have been helping San Diego with their plumbing needs for 45 years. Call 1-800-8-BILL-HOW because we know how. License number 488413.
All right, Jon and Jim back with you. Kyle Glazer, he's been a friend of the show over the years, formerly Baseball America. He's going to join us shortly. He's been tweeting about these Roki Sasaki sweepstakes. He's a great baseball voice, really good knowledge of San Diego and LA specifically. He's going to join us coming up momentarily. He's got good insight. He's got really good insight talking about international slot money, what's going to take to land Roki. We'll see if the Padres can pull this thing out at the last moment. Again, are they likely to do it? Are they a favorite to do it? Are they the favorite to do it? I don't know. But we'll find out in the coming days. I know this. They're one of 3 teams standing. I'd rather be Toronto, San Diego, or LA than the other teams at this exact moment. But at the end of the day, what's the next? Yes. Finish second, finish last. Come up with it? No. What was the term? Ricky Bobby? If you're not first or last? Yeah. I haven't seen it. I know. Not first or last. And that's how I view it here. If you're not first or last, I don't care if you finish second or third. If you're not first or last. I'm looking at what Kyle has written here on social media about international money, and the Padres and Blue Jays have an identical amount of money, and the Dodgers have $1.1 million left. Now, again, teams can acquire more international money come tomorrow. So, I think he's running the Padres could acquire theoretically another $3 or $4 million, and I think the Dodgers could acquire another $2 or $3 million. Well, you and I both agree, is money really the difference? Yamamoto got $325 because he came over as a veteran player. And now Sasaki's coming over as a 23-year-old, and he can get like 100 of what Yamamoto got. There's no way money is the overriding factor. The only way I think it's a factor is if the Dodgers say they have $1 million. Then it would, I think, be a factor. Especially if the other teams that are in on Roki have $6 million plus. You want to be close. And with the endorsements that Roki will get, wherever he goes, doesn't matter where he goes, he's going to get a bunch of endorsement deals, especially in Japan, with whatever team he goes to. That could triple us out potentially. I don't know how that works, but it would probably be a lot of money with endorsements. Probably more in LA compared to Toronto or San Diego, but still, you're going to get a good chunk from endorsements wherever you go. Yeah, it's a good point. So you're saying, yeah, if he's truly only making $1 or $2 million per year, but if you can make another 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in endorsement per year, then what does the 1, 2, 3 mean? If you can make another 6, 8, 10, 12. I'm just already like, doomsday scenario. He picks, not doomsday scenario, but one of the worst scenarios. He goes to the Dodgers. I'm already envisioning in my head like Roki, like Ohtani and Yamamoto doing a commercial, and then all of a sudden out of the background comes like Roki Sasaki, and they're all just standing there together. And what type of ad would this be? I don't know. A baseball ad, John? Oh, it wouldn't be for like Golden Grams? No. Just like random, like whatever. Fruity Pebbles. Not Fruity Pebbles. I don't know. I mean, are you really choosing the market based on your endorsement potential? I guess so. I guess that's how life works, though. That's sometimes a part of the equation, but it's not the number one. The number one is development. Right. Development. And I said yesterday, maybe the Dodgers also have a leg up here because after 6 years, where are you likely to re-sign? What team are you likely to re-sign with that will have the money to keep you in-house long-term if you turn out to be, the pitcher that you are saying that you want to be, which is Cy Young, top pitcher in the sport? It's LA.
you become a top pitcher in the sport, and you win a Cy Young in the 6 years wherever you're at, the likelihood of you re-signing with San Diego or Toronto, not that high. The likelihood of you re-signing with the Dodgers, very high.
Are you thinking about that, though, if you're a 23-year-old? Like, you're already forecasting your next deal? Like, this deal is important enough.
Well, I'm thinking about how can I become the best pitcher in the sport to get to that point, to get however hundreds of millions of dollars that you're going to, ask for. What team out of the top 3 are going to be able to give you that?
I just feel like that's premature. Because who knows? Maybe the Padres or the Blue Jays are capable of doing that. And maybe 6 years in, you've been with the Dodgers and you end up going to Philadelphia.
Or you're also looking at it like, I sign with the Dodgers. I know for a fact that Ohtani and Yamamoto are going to be there for the entirety of my first 6 years in the bigs.
That's true too.
And you have Blake Snell now in the fold for 5 years?
Is that good or bad?
It depends.
For Roki.
Depends. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. They're all going to be there. Nothing's changing with the Dodgers anytime soon.
Yeah, no, it's fair. Like, we've said this a ton of times. You don't have to make the argument for the Dodgers. It makes its argument for itself.
Yeah.
They're in the large market. They win at a high level. They have superstars under control. They have a large budget.
You walk in the room, you sit down, and basically you pass over the contract, and that's all you need to do, because not much needs to be said. You don't need to convince Roki to be like,
if
this
he
is the best place to play.
If he wants it, you're 100% right. But if there's any part of him that says what we've seen reports on, don't want the largest market, would potentially want to work with a veteran like a Yu Darvish. We've seen that, right? Godfather-like figure for Roki Sasaki. That's not me saying it. We've seen that reported previously. Jeff Passan, we listened to a podcast with him, Jim, maybe earlier this week or last week, where he's like, any speculation you're hearing on his landing spot is premature. There is no guarantee he's ending up in Los Angeles. Not to say he's not ultimately going to land there, but Jeff Passan would speak truthfully on the matter. If he thought it was an inevitability he would end up in LA, he would be writing that. He would be saying that. He hasn't yet gone that far. Not to say he doesn't end up in LA. I just don't think it's foregone at this point. Like a foregone conclusion that this dude's going to end up with the Dodgers.
No, I agree.
And then we'll get the tweet. Roki to the Dodgers.
But behind the curtain, what's going on with Kyle?
He's on the phone, dude.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he's gonna join us in a few minutes.
Okay.
He's talking to someone in baseball.
Oh, it must be nice.
More important than you and your video that you're leaking that basically ruined any chance of Roki coming here.
All right, pause. I did not ruin this, okay?
Well, we'll see.
We'll find out.
As of now, maybe not.
Yeah, as of now, no.
But wait, the update here, if you missed this yesterday, Jim posted the video from Reddit of Roki throwing that was leaked. Now, if you notice, go to Jim Russell SD on Twitter. Guess what video isn't there?
Oh, the Roki video.
The Roki video.
All right.
Why did you take it down? #soft.
Okay, let me go behind the curtain here.
How many curtains are we going behind? Because we just went behind one.
Well, there's an additional curtain, and then another curtain, and then probably like another curtain.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, post that video. Of course, I know it's going to blow up. Of course, I know.
Of course,
it's going to get likes and retweets. I'm a ham. Who cares? Whatever.
Right.
I don't shy away from it. So last night when I got off work, I had to go do a bunch of things. My TV broke. I had to go get a new TV. Go get, shop for dinner, cook dinner. I had to do some stuff at the house for Bentley and yada, yada, yada. So you and Darnay are blowing me up. And you're like, dude, you're going to be the reason why Roki doesn't sign here. Did you see his Instagram post? Blah, 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 blah.
Okay, hold on real quick. Can you tell him we'll have him in? We'll take a break right now because nobody cares about Jim's story, and then we'll have Kyle in a minute. I mean, we do need the story, but Kyle's calling in.
What an e-break. All right.
What do you want? Do you want to finish your TV story? Or you want Kyle?
We can get Kyle next segment.
All right, let's take a time out. Kyle Glazer will join us momentarily. Jim will share his story. We got hours, dude. They gave us an extra hour.
We have 30
Tell us
hours
more
of the
about your
show.
TV in a moment. Let's take a break. Kyle Glazer next, Jon and Jim. All right, the Aztecs back tonight. We'll take out Colorado State. VA House Arena. Pre-game coverage at 7. Ted's got the tip at 8. On your home of the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. We always appreciate Kyle Glazer's time. Great baseball voice. And I know he, like a lot of people in Southern California, have been going through it over the last week or so. We want to get into all things Padres and baseball. First of all, Kyle, thank you. And hopefully you and your family are doing all right. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, my pleasure. We're fortunate that we didn't get to our house. There's a lot of people out here who it's been a rough week. I would encourage everyone to support, donate in any way they can. No doubt about it. Absolutely. We're glad to hear you are doing well. Kyle Glazer, again, great baseball voice with us again. Jon Jim. Where do you think this stands? I've seen some of your tweets here recently on some of the international money from the teams still standing in the sweepstakes for Roki with Toronto and San Diego and Los Angeles. How do you see this right now as we're about 24 hours out from when the posting period opens or even less than that? What do you think is most likely in the days ahead? From the outset of when he was announced that he was coming over to the U.S. this year, that he was going to post, the overwhelming belief in the industry is that the Dodgers and Padres were the two front runners, two favorites. That one evaluator that told me that they thought that it was the Dodgers that were maybe a hair ahead, and I had another tell me that the Dodgers and Padres were next. So the fact that the Dodgers and Padres were two finalists is not a surprise. The Blue Jays are going to be surprised. They were not a team that a lot of people felt like would have a great shot at landing him going through the process. So clearly, whether it was during the conversation in our office or in Toronto, and some of the fact that they're finalists, clearly they said there's something that really process. That said, I do think it will come down to the Dodgers and Padres. I would put it at probably 49%, 49% each of them. It's going to be a narrow market, and ultimately it really is going to come down to where he feels most comfortable.
So we've been talking a lot about like what is the number one thing for Roki whenever he decides where he's going to go. I say that it's where he feels like he can be developed the best. Do you believe that?
Well, it's never just one thing. I would say the
top reason, the top reason.
Yeah, it's well, I'd say there's going to be two top reasons. One, where does he feel like he can become the best possible pitcher he can be, which, you're right on it. Where can he get to that next level and really develop best? And second is, where is he comfortable? This is a huge transition anytime you're coming to a new country. And I think a lot of times people kind of underestimate how much that weighs on certain players and affects their decision. So first and foremost, yes, it's going to be what team does he feel like gives him the best chance to be the best version of himself and win. And then on top of that, where does he feel most comfortable, embarking on this next stage of his, not just his career, but his life.
Kyle Glazer with us right now on Jon and Jim. Kyle, what are your expectations for Roki wherever he lands in 2025? What would you expect maybe from like an innings perspective and an overall like efficiency perspective in his first year?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with him is the expectation is he will be somewhere between 100 to 150 innings. That's just even if he stays healthy. He's never thrown more than 129 third innings in his career, and that was a few seasons ago in Japan. So really, he's a guy that's going to give you just absolute electricity. It's going to be, in some ways it might be kind of Tyler Glasnow-ish, where you may only get 120 innings, 130 innings, but it's going to be absolute fire. I think that's what you kind of expect the first year. And then moving into future years, he continues to build innings, gets bigger, gets stronger. People forget he just turned 23. He still has some physical development ahead. And that's a big part of wherever he goes next is who can help him get to that next level, get bigger, get strong, get more durable. Durability is what's going to help him get to the next level. He doesn't need a whole lot of pitch optimization or stuff improvements. Durability is what's going to get him there.
Can you explain to us how this could turn into, I think the word I saw was like international signing Armageddon with the teams that are, in on Roki? Because if the reports are true that he won't make a decision until the 20th or so, I mean, that 5-day period and window, like that's going to be a brutal window for these teams that are in on Roki that might not know if they're going to land him or not. Can you just explain to everybody like how that could be a problem?
Sure. So the international signing period opens January 15th, and teams generally reach agreements with the prospects they're going to sign years in advance. So in some cases, they've had a verbal commitment to a kid for $2 million here, $1 million there, $1.5 million there. And they've essentially allocated what their whole signing bonus pool is going to be. On January 15th, they pretty much know who they're signing and for how much. There's not a lot of surprises on signing day. But with Roki Sasaki, a lot of teams are saying we need to keep all of our international bonus pool money set aside for him. So these verbal agreements they've made with these teenagers and these trainers for, in some cases 1 or 2 years ahead of time, all of a sudden it's like, hey, hold on, we need to reserve our money for Roki Sasaki if he comes to sign with us. So you could have an international signing class of 10, 20 kids all of a sudden that are irritated with you because you promised them money and now you're backing out of it. And the trainers are going to be ticked as well and not feel too good about, the fact you essentially are pulling your offer from his players. So, a team like the Dodgers or Padres that's going to be holding out their national money, if say Roki Sasaki signs with the Dodgers and the Padres hadn't moved to sign any of their kids who they committed money to because they had to keep it reserved for Roki Sasaki, all of a sudden January 20th could come around and Roki Sasaki is in another uniform and all the kids the Padres struck agreements with have gone and signed with other teams because they weren't sure they were going to get their money from the Padres, and that would leave the Padres without much international signing class. That's how it would unfold, whether it's the Padres, Dodgers, or Blue Jays. That is a risk they all face.
So basically, it's like a high limit poker. Like you're running the risk of if you don't sign Sasaki, you could lose out on all your international signings. Or if you do sign Sasaki, then obviously that's the best case scenario.
Again, and that's where he is worth it. At the end of the day, this is the best pitcher in the world that is not currently in Major League Baseball and someone who has a chance, if he stays healthy, to be one of the top 5 or 6 pitchers in the major leagues at his peak, be a true number one starter who starts game 1 of a World Series for you and lights the other team up. So that's a risk worth taking for a talent like this, but it is a consideration.
Kyle Glazer with us right now on Jon and Jim. Kyle, I'm curious to get your thoughts on, would a team without knowing that Roki is going to sign with them, let's just say San Diego and LA, we get to the 15th, would San Diego, without the benefit of knowing where he's going to land, all of a sudden start acquiring international money in your estimation just in case? Or would they need some type of indicator from the player? Or is that a sign of good faith? Hey, we are acquiring international money, even though we don't have an assurance that you're coming here.
Teams are going to be acquiring the international money, regardless of any indications from him. It's about putting themselves in the best possible positions. And there's no downside to acquiring international signing money if, he ends up signing somewhere else. There are always some guys who pop up later in the international signing class. So, I go back to Shohei Ohtani in 2017. The Angels made some trades to acquire international signing pool money in the days leading up to him announcing where he was going to sign. But so did the Seattle Mariners. Other teams that were interested made moves to put themselves in the best possible position. And that was, they didn't have any indication where he was going. The Angels didn't know where he was going either until they got the phone call. So it's just something you do to put yourself in the best possible position. And there's not a ton of downside as long as you don't trade away a really, really good prospect for that international signing bonus money.
Of the 3 finalists, do you agree that the Padres are the team that needs him the most?
Yes, when you look at the fact that they are not going to have Joe Musgrove in their starting rotation, look, it really is as simple. If they sign Roki Sasaki, they are once again a playoff contender on the strength of their starting rotation. You look at Yu Darvish, Dylan Cease, Roki Sasaki, Michael King. That's one of the top rotations in baseball in terms of the top 4. If they don't sign him, all of a sudden you're looking at 3 guys you feel really good about and 2 spots at the back end you have question marks on, without, a ton of financial wiggle room to play with. And we've seen in the past, the Padres have had plenty of iterations of teams with 3 good starters and the back end of the rotation's a mess, and that can really sink you. I really do think that signing Roki Sasaki is the difference between the Padres being a World Series contender again versus maybe a team that struggles to make the playoffs.
That's fascinating. Kyle Glazer's with us right now. What else do they need to do, Kyle? I mean, they've been so eerily quiet. I think they signed Tyler Wade to a major league deal months ago for about $1 million. I mean, where do you see the Padres right now, irregardless of Roki, as they move forward into 2025?
look, they need a catcher, they need a left fielder, and they, if they don't get Roki Sasaki, they probably need some veteran starting pitching depth in the event that, some of the young guys aren't quite ready to give you a full season's worth of quality innings. So they have a lot of needs, but Roki Sasaki, just being the star he is someone that if you add him to your team, you get that much better right away.
Kyle, always appreciate it. Be well, stay safe, and we'll talk more baseball with you in the weeks ahead. But thank you for doing it in San Diego.
Thanks, Kyle.
Sounds good. My pleasure, guys.
All right, great stuff from Kyle Glazer, who is in the LA area.
Yeah.
Has covered the Padres extensively in his career, worked for Baseball America, has great insight. He really shared great insight. He said, I mean, you heard that. That sounds like Darnay a little bit, where it's like, this is such a significant move. He said,
just kidding.
The variance is like, hey, they're a legitimate World Series contender with them. And without them, they may struggle to make the postseason. He said that.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big, there's a lot on the line.
Yeah. Because, pitching.
Yeah.
And, Roki's not going to be at like his peak form next year.
Right.
But if the dude gives you, like Kyle Glazer said, between 100 and 150 innings,
and he's got a
at
3 ERA or better.
2 ERA,
yep,
with like a 1 whip or a sub 1 whip, you're like, dude,
that'll play.
That will absolutely play, and they'll plan everything out so he'd be healthy for a postseason run if they were lucky enough to get to that position. But it's not just about next year either. It's about 2 years from now, 3, 4. It's about the future of this team on the field, especially with the uncertainty of King and Cease.
It's almost like he provides the stability that the organization is seeking, because now you're talking years. You don't have a decade, but even to know that he's going to be in your rotation 5 years from today, that's something that they have a lot of instability right now. We've been talking about it all offseason. He would provide some stability to this team and organization. All right, Jim shares stories about him taking down Roki Sasaki videos on the other side. We'll hear from the former baseball GM Steve Phillips coming up. We have Will Brinson to talk about the divisional round of the postseason. He'll join us at 4 p.m. We have Aztec basketball tickets for Saturday to give away. A lot going on. We're here until 6. It's Jon and Jim.
This update's brought to you by unbound.org. San Diego State takes on Colorado State tonight at Viejas Arena, coming off their 14-point loss to New Mexico over the weekend. 8 p.m. tip time, 7 p.m. pregame. Of course, you can listen to all the action right here on San Diego Sports 760. And the divisional round of the NFL playoffs are now set after last night when the Rams beat the Vikings 27-9. Rams will now travel to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Previously on Jon and Jim.
Now we're doing like our CSI investigation.
I came to confess. I was the second gunman on the grassy knoll.
Someone posted Sasaki throwing a bullpen at Petco Park. Please let him sign with the Padres. We're zooming in on this thing. I mean, I can't confirm it's Roki Sasaki, but there's a right-handed pitcher throwing. There appears to be the rodeo set up on the field. Thoughts?
I have exercised the demon.
That is definitely recent because the rodeo's going on. That looks like Roki's mechanics.
It's like old, long and skinny.
Now, time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 2, Jon and Jim, wall-to-wall Roki coverage, getting you ready for Aztec basketball tonight. We do have pairs of tickets for Saturday at Viejas Arena. San Diego State, UNLV, 5 o'clock start time. Tickets at goaztecs.com. We'll give away a pair of Aztec basketball tickets for Saturday. Coming up this hour, Will Brinson, NFL insider, CBS Sports, will join us at 4 p.m. There's a lot that we're going to share with you related to Roki this hour as well. We'll hear from Steve Phillips, former GM, on the Roki sweepstakes as well. But Jim, yesterday, let's get back to this.
Way to bury the
let's
lead.
Get back to this.
I've been waiting with
Yes.
such great anticipation.
All right, so let's just set it up again. You post a video that was posted on Reddit just immediately because it's Roki throwing a side session at Petco.
Yeah.
And then moments later, it's gone from Reddit. It's deleted.
Yeah.
And then later it starts disappearing across the internet.
Yeah.
So, and then you ultimately decide to delete the video as well. Take us through this process.
So I posted it. I gave credit to the person on Reddit, and that was that.
Okay.
I think Talking Baseball picked it up and put it like,
Oh, no big deal. John Boy. No, it's fine.
and put it on their
No big deal.
Instagram page with like a picture of like my tweet. I was like, okay,
No
it's fine.
big deal.
Must be nice. So anyway, I get off work yesterday. Like I said, I had to go get a new television because my television broke.
Sure, with all the likes and the retweets, you're just buying TVs.
Yeah. It's
Money's just flowing
it's
in.
great. And I do dinner, and there's some Bentley stuff, and clean the house because our friends just left, and yada yada yada. So you and Darnay are constantly messaging me, bro. You're gonna ruin this whole thing. I can't believe it. Did you see Roki's Instagram page that he said, "Hey, respect my privacy," and blah, yada 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 yada.
Yeah, you're freaking out.
And I haven't checked Twitter, so I'm freaking out. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Right.
So I look at some of my notifications, and I got to get his name right. I think his name is Matt. Let me check here. Yeah, Matt reached out to me, and he commented on the video. He said, "Hey man, this was my video. Could you please take it down?" So I reached out to Matt, and I asked him, talk to him for a bit.
And you're like, no, Matt.
No, it was really his video. Like, he wasn't lying.
Sue me.
Yeah, no. And I understood why he asked me to take it down. I completely understood.
Because he never wanted it going public in the first place.
Well, not only that, you know what happens when something goes viral. Eventually, you're going to get some comments that aren't, I guess, good comments.
Such as?
Like, you're an idiot. Why'd you post this?
Right, you're going to cost the Padres
Yeah,
Roki Sasaki,
yeah.
which is what I was saying to you yesterday.
For me, I don't care. Like, 100 people could tell me I'm an idiot. I don't care.
Right.
But I understand for somebody that might not want that and might not want to be like attached to a viral post, and they just don't want to deal with hate and just all that stuff. I get it. So he asked me very nicely, and he's a great guy. Like I talked for a bit, like totally cool guy. And he showed, he's like, dude, I swear this is my video. It's like, okay, yeah. And he asked me nicely to take it down, and I took it down for him out of respect. Like, so, in that case, I'm not going to be a douche and be like, no, I need to keep the likes. Like, nah, dude, it was his video. He proved it that it was, and he asked me to take it down, and I did for him.
Do you feel as if there will be any unintended consequences as a result of this video leaking on the internet?
None. Zero. I don't think there will be. Why should there be?
I don't know.
It's not like I guess wherever this video was taken was a private area. Like it's a public area.
Outside, there's apartments.
Yeah. It's a public area. And so, who cares? Like if the Padres were so worried about this getting out there in the public, they wouldn't have done this at Petco Park. They would have done it in Cage, or they would have set up a tent. I don't know. But if you have a ballpark with high rises looking inside the ballpark,
sure.
You're going to have people take videos during the offseason inside the ballpark. How many times, by the way, have we seen clips on the internet of like people taking videos of Preller walking around the ballpark on his phone or something?
Maybe it was one of those drones we keep seeing on the news.
I mean, here's the thing. To Jim's point, it's a public ballpark. This isn't they don't play in a dome. There's apartments everywhere.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen over the years too, like, oh, Darvish might be coming back from injury. He's throwing a bullpen. We see it all the time. We talk about that all the time. So, yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't think there's any unintended consequences. Shoot, Toronto media reported he threw in Toronto. Okay. Yeah. Now we know he's throwing in San Diego. Guess what? He probably threw in LA. This dude's got to have a rubber arm. He's throwing every day.
Yeah.
Right now. But
so, and look, like,
if you cost him Sasaki, you cost him Sasaki.
Yeah. Just blame me. It's fine. But if I was in a position where I wanted something taken down and I was like, oh no, here we go. And I asked people nicely, like, hey, this is my video.
Right.
Could you please just take it down?
What if I would
want that person to take it down.
What? Okay. Let's go the opposite here. Let's say you were the one that owned the video. You created the content, but you didn't post it, but you put it in a group thread, me, you, and Brent, right? And then I posted it. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm posting it.
I'd be mad.
And then you were like, yo, you got to take that down. I'm like, no.
I would not be your friend anymore.
Oh.
You telling me
well, I would never do that, first of all, because you know me and how cautious I am.
Right, because you've sent me stuff. You're like, if this gets out, I'll kill you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
like pictures
that's
like,
kind of how I feel like this guy was feeling in this moment. Like, oh no, this got out.
The thing is, honestly, I'm such a proponent of this video because it gave us so much hope yesterday.
So much hope, dude.
Even if at the end of the day they don't land him, for like 12 hours, I was like, this guy's going to be a Padre. Yeah. Now, that's false hope. But that video was like the greatest thing we've had this offseason.
And I think Matt would be fine in me sharing this. Like, it wasn't the only thing Roki Sasaki did at Petco Park yesterday.
Oh, well, what else did he do?
That's all I'll say. It's not the only thing that Roki did at Petco yesterday. I'd say that.
I don't even know what that means. You say it like
he did more than just throw catch to Ethan Salas.
Gotcha. You're saying he was there for more of the day. It wasn't just 5 minutes.
Right. It wasn't a 5-minute session.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, what's there not to, if you're Roki and you're in San Diego and you're seeing Petco and you're around guys like Joe Musgrove and Ethan Salas, that's great. I bet it went well. You Darvish, I bet it was a really good experience.
Yeah.
Is it what he wants? Because he's doing the same thing with LA. He did the same thing with Toronto. I mean, how do you really say no to San Diego? I mean, we're all here. But again, when you're up against LA, it puts you in a spot where, hey, San Diego's great, but is it going to be enough at the end of the day?
But for anybody out there, like, I don't know if that was Roki, dude. It was 100% Roki Sasaki.
You can confirm?
Like 100% can confirm it was Roki Sasaki. So anybody out there that's still like skeptical if that was really him, that was really him.
Jay Farrell in our chat says he rode the bull. Was he doing mechanical bulls from the rodeo?
Last time someone rode something here in San Diego, Juan Soto, he turned into like crap for the team.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he rode a donkey not a donkey. What did he ride?
Was that rodeo related?
No, it was like animal related, but what was it?
I don't remember. Oh, was it a
llama?
Camel?
It was a camel. Not a llama.
Yeah, they had like camel night. It was like,
and then he hit like 214 for the rest of the year.
Right.
He was like, what?
Of course, even without the camel, he hit like 215.
True.
That year. All right, so I won't blame you.
Like if I took it down because people were telling me on the internet to take it down.
Yeah, would you have done it?
No. But the actual person that took this video politely asked me and gave me reasons why he would like me to take it down. 100% I'll do it. totally fine. I don't care.
I mean, this is the most speculated player since Ohtani in baseball. People are clamoring for information and news.
I know.
Like, I completely get the video spreading like it did.
It was
going because people are so enamored by this player. This offseason, specifically in San Diego, not in LA. They just won the World Series. They've signed Tasker Hernandez, Blake Snell, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here we're clamoring for anything
dude. I need any little
We've got
bit
this
of
like
information.
30,000 foot view of Roki from a tower. Dude. And that's like the biggest is that not the biggest moment of the offseason to date?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah. Behind the curtain again, every single day. What do? Me and you in the morning when we text. We text each other like maybe one story about
one story,
Roki.
like lead. And what we mean by that is it starts the show.
And it's like
Ken Rosenthal predicting that he's going to the Dodgers.
Lead.
Now, I would listen to that. We could play it later. Yeah. He's like, I think the Dodgers. Then he quotes to himself. He's like, it's just a prediction. I have no idea.
Yeah. And it's like any little tiny nugget of Roki Sasaki news, information, sound bites, lead. That's what we have done because we know how important Roki is to this offseason. Is me and you, put all of our eggs in the basket of Roki Sasaki. Content.
You, AJ Preller, the organization. Now, I don't think the Dodgers have,
because they're sitting there like this is a luxury item for them.
Right.
This is to make them go from 110 wins to 113 wins.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Okay. This would make the Padres an 83 win team next year to a 93 win team next year potentially.
Yeah, so like from a need perspective, Kyle Glazer just said it. You asked him the question, who needs him the most among the Blue Jays, the Dodgers, and the Padres? He said definitively the Padres. So the Padres need him. The question is, does he need them? And we could find out as soon as tomorrow. Where Roki is heading in 2025 and beyond. All right, I do want to hear from Steve Phillips, the former baseball GM, on the other side. His thoughts on Roki. Is it LA? Is it San Diego? We're giving away Aztec basketball tickets for Saturday. We're going to get you ready for that game as well. And Will Brinson, our NFL insider, will join us at 4 p.m. We'll get ready for the divisional round. We are here until 6. Aztec basketball tonight at 8 with pregame coverage at 7. It's Jon and Jim. Jim, San Diego Sports 760 has 13 chances to win $1,000 every weekday. Grand in your hand cash contest. That's every hour, 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. Listen for the keyword at the top of every hour, then enter it at sportsfd.com. Presented by Palomar Solar. Solar batteries and roofing. All right, we're waiting on Roki. What do you have?
No, I was going to say that the $1,000 cash prize giveaway every top of the hour is huge.
Pretty dope, right? Every hour,
very dope.
on the hour, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That includes coming up 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m. here on Jon and Jim.
Yeah,
Chance
so
to
you
win
better
money.
be listening at the top of the hour to figure out how to win that $1,000 cash prize.
That's right. So be listening for a chance to win, again, $1,000 every weekday. Yeah, we should tell Roki. He might need it. He can only get like $1 million a year. He might need the 1K.
Yeah, it'll help his endorsements out.
That's a great point. All right, I want to hear from Steve Phillips. So, former baseball GM, works with MLB Network Radio, asked about the sweepstakes and the Dodgers and the Padres. Steve Phillips had this to say.
It sure feels like it's the Padres and then a long shot the Blue Jays because, you think about Yu Darvish is his godfather in his words. He's called him his baseball godfather. He's been his mentor throughout. And it just seems hard to believe that he would choose the Dodgers over being with Darvish, right? You've got Ohtani and, to Jim Bowden's point where he had been talking a lot about, if you're going to get off-field money and marketing money in some way in sponsorship deals, going with Ohtani and Yamamoto, you're the third of the three. How much will you get there versus going down there with Darvish now in San Diego? Now, both teams sell out the stadium. Sasaki, it was reported, was at one of the Dodgers-Padres playoff games this year. And went there. I think it was in San Diego when he went. Remember, they had a chance to upset the Dodgers and close out that series. The Dodgers ended up winning the series and went on to win the World Series. So I don't know if it backfired with him being in San Diego with the idea that San Diego was the best fit. But it feels like, if you have to separate the Dodgers and the Padres, there are reasons to point to the Padres in Darvish and, not having to battle the Ohtani brand in LA. If off-field money is part of the plan in making that for Sasaki.
Wait, what? So did anyone know that previously? That Sasaki reportedly attended Padres Dodgers NLDS games in San Diego? Excuse me?
Way to bury the lead there, buddy.
Where? Was he just like in the third baseline? Like, was he in a suite?
He's like, whichever team wins
is where I'm going
to go. Could you imagine?
So wait, this past October.
Make the collapse even worse.
This past October, he was in San Diego as a fan. Just taking it all in.
Just to watch his buddies play baseball? I don't know.
I mean, is that true?
I don't know. Steve Phillips, who knows?
Where's the video?
Yeah,
I mean, these fan bases are rabid.
The Bruder film video again of Roki out there.
But he made a compelling case for the Padres, saying there's already these superstars from Japan. What kind of revenue are you going to get from an endorsement perspective? And I think Yu Darvish might be the closer here. You're all on Team Ruben, and I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
But I'm on Team Yu Darvish.
Is Darvish more of is he a better closer than Ohtani?
No, probably not.
Okay.
Especially considering what we know about Seiya Suzuki. You're going to love Chicago.
Yeah. Is he even a better closer than Yamamoto?
He's the best Japanese-born pitcher in the history of Major League Baseball.
Okay.
So, and that includes Shohei Ohtani.
He will not be Darvish's teammate for 6 years.
Yeah, he will. Darvish is under contract for like 20 years, right? How many more years is Darvish under control? 5? I think it's 5 years.
Let me double check on this.
It's at least 4. Now, I think he retires before that. But I think Darvish is here another couple of years. But he's under control for forever.
All right. Spot Track has him at he's under control until 2028.
That's incredible.
Becomes a free agent at 42 years old in 2029.
So 4 more years of control.
Yes, this year.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Correct.
4 more years of control. Now, I don't think he finishes that out. That would shock me.
Now, the good news is on Yu Darvish's contract is this year he's making $21 million.
Okay.
That's the payroll. The luxury tax number is 18. It's 18 for the rest of his time here. But the payroll number goes down the next 3 seasons after this to 16, then 15, then 15.
Remember when we heard about that deal? We're like, wait, what?
It
what
was
did you
really
do?
weird.
Like, yeah, he's been really effective when healthy here. No doubt. But a 7-year deal. Remember that deal was all about the AAV. 6-year deal.
6-year 108.
It was all about the AAV. Like, give them the additional years, but lower the amount.
Yeah, it was 18
against the CBT.
Right?
So 18. I mean, that's a deal. Look at around baseball. Sean Mania is getting $25 million.
Yeah, 45-year-old Justin Verlander's getting 15 per year.
Right. I'm just saying, for me, if he chooses here, I'm gonna credit you, Darvish.
And if he doesn't pick here,
I'm gonna blame you. I'm gonna blame you. That's exactly right. That's exactly how this is gonna play out. And I need more news today because yesterday was really newsy.
Well, I think the news of the day is that he is meeting once again with the Dodgers.
And I say I want more news, but I don't want the tweet that says this team is out if it's the Padres. So I can wait that out.
No, if you're going to get news on another team being out, it's going to be the Blue Jays. That's how I feel.
So this is going to be like the rose ceremony, and boom.
Yes.
Two are left.
They do a final 3.
Rose.
It's really tough decision after hometowns.
They should televise this.
And then once hometowns are done, you got down to 2, and that's where you go on the exotic trip, and then you have the fancy suites, and then you do the pookie. How you doing? And
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I can't say it on radio, but you get the job done.
Isn't it commonplace on those shows though that like the dude will, say it's Jenny and Tiffany, and he goes into the room with the fantasy suite with Tiffany, but then he picks Jenny. Isn't that the way it works most of the time?
No,
is he goes in the room with the one, and then
probably goes to the fantasy suite with both of them.
Yeah, they always. Rarely do you see a bachelor or a bachelorette show where the final 2 or the final 3 in some cases don't accept and they turn down a fantasy suite invitation. Rarely do you see that. Like, you never see that happen.
What are we talking about?
I'm just breaking down the Bachelor and the Bachelorette.
I also love, like, in the fantasy suite, there's always a card that says, like, would you like to enjoy an evening?
Well, no, they give it to them at dinner, which they don't eat, by the way.
How do you know?
Because I've watched The Bachelor enough and I've researched The Bachelor and Bachelorette enough to know that this show eventually became anytime they have like a one-on-one date
Jim trying to get on,
they go to like an exotic place or whatever, and they have dinner together. They never eat the food. It's all fake.
If you were single, would you go on the show?
No. I would not.
Why not?
Because that just
I know.
I know.
You have to leave your job for weeks.
Yeah.
But it can make a career. Because then you get all these Instagram followers.
Okay. That's not the point of going on the show, John. It's to try and find true love.
Give me a break. Okay, much more on this coming up. We're giving away Aztec basketball tickets for Saturday against UNLV. We'll get you ready for tonight as well. Critical showdown between the Aztecs and Colorado State. Plus, this hour, I think I just said it, your chance to win Aztec tickets for Saturday against UNLV. Coming up at 4 p.m., Will Brinson, our NFL insider. Divisional matchups are set. He'll join us at 4 p.m. on Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by unbound.org. Tonight, San Diego State takes on Colorado State at Viejas Arena. 8 p.m. tip time, 7 p.m. pregame right here on San Diego Sports 760. And the divisional round in the NFL is set after the Rams beat the Vikings last night 27-9. Face the Eagles in Philadelphia this upcoming weekend. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
All right, Jon and Jim back with you. We are eagerly awaiting this, like everyone else is. Roki Sasaki, again, the international period opens up tomorrow at 6 a.m. Pacific. Jim will be sleeping through that. But I've got you covered. Here's what you should do. In case of something significant, would you consider leaving your ringer on?
My ringer?
Yeah, because I'm guessing when I text you at like 8 in the morning and you're sleeping, you don't get like a buzz or a ding. You do? You shouldn't. I don't. I turn off my ringer. I put it on silent.
No, my ringer's off, but like I'll hear it, like, because it's on my nightstand.
Yeah, but if you click this thing, I'm serious. When I click this down,
I remember my first time with an iPhone. Yes,
it doesn't vibrate. It doesn't ding.
You have like an iPhone 2.
So you're telling me the new iPhones do ding and you can't unding them?
I can ding it.
What are we talking about? I'm saying
look at ring. There we go.
But I'm saying, why don't you typically when you sleep, aren't you turning your ringer off?
I'm always on silent.
I'm saying, what if something happens and I need to get a hold of you?
Then call me. I don't know. Whatever. Like, send the bat signal. I'll see it on my phone.
Go to his house and knock.
Yeah, drive to IB and go to my house.
I don't know where you live.
You've
I've been there like 2 times.
Before.
You live like behind a house.
Correct. It's not that hard to find, even though for you it's impossible.
It would be impossible to find.
Right. Because you're very directionally challenged.
Correct.
It's really bad.
And then anyway, my point is we need to be prepared.
I am prepared to see it when I see it.
All right. Again, I don't think we get it tomorrow. I really don't.
Give me a day right now that we find out the news.
I mean, we keep hearing that it's not going to be official until after the 20th. I forget why the 20th again, Jim.
No, not after the.
Yeah, it was like the 20th. Why? So teams can acquire this international money. It takes 5 days.
Sure.
So, but I'm thinking we know by like the end of the week, by Friday. And by no, I mean like Jeff Passan tweets, the expectation is Roki Sasaki will sign with the Dodgers on Monday.
If we don't know by Friday, then my entire weekend's ruined. I need this to be finalized by like no later than 1:59 on Friday afternoon.
Right. You're going away for the weekend.
And if it happens to push to like 7:30 at night, so be it. We'll still do a wrap-up show. But if this bleeds into the weekend, it will ruin my weekend.
I mean, the speculation has gotten to the point where Foul Territory, the podcast that we air more than Jon and Jim on the show, and we're not going to play it right now. We don't have the audio, but
sure, there's like violations for that.
Ken Rosen, they tweeted out Foul Territory. Ken Rosenthal predicts Roki Sasaki will ultimately sign with the LA Dodgers. And then Ken Rosenthal quote tweeted that and said, it's just a prediction, a guess, basically.
But it's also an educated guess from somebody who is completely dialed in. Now, it is Sinister Sling Ken Rosenthal, so take it for
right. I mean, he said it's a guess.
I still would believe Passan over Ken.
I don't think Ken has any idea, is my point.
I don't think he does.
I don't think Jeff Passan knows. I think that he was told by Joe Wolf or someone that represents in the Wasserman group, here are the 3. And then he reported, here are the 3 teams standing.
Well, if you're a good reporter, you're checking in with those teams.
Yeah.
To see what they're hearing. And then you're checking in with Joel Wolf and you're checking in with other sources, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it kind of feels like when these teams know, that's going to break fairly quickly because they're going to have to be making moves, right? And they're going to be calling agents and they're going to be calling international players. And then those agents will talk to other agents. And then eventually it'll get back to Passan or Ken or whoever's going to tweet on this first.
And that's why I think we get it this week. And I also think if this is his final meeting, 3 teams standing. He met with the other 2. Today he meets with the Dodgers. That's all 3 teams. Now there's no more like guesswork. Like it's over. It's been 40 days. He can sign. He's met with the teams. He has a plan in place. We're going to find out this week. And if we don't, I blame your video.
I mean, full transparency here, dude. Like, if the Padres don't land Roki,
yeah,
our careers are over.
That's not true. You always overreact to everything.
Our careers are fully over. He has been great to our channels, and he's been great to social media. If the Padres don't, I'm not gonna say we, because I'm not part of the team. If the Padres don't land Roki, man, we're screwed.
This is the same two
me and
people.
you at the Padres.
No, this is the same 2 people that were like,
me and you, not the Padres.
Dude, the Dodgers won the World Series last year. And we were still on air.
But you get my point. This would take it to like another level. Like
if Roki goes to the Dodgers,
if he goes to the Padres, like it's great for our like international fan base.
I mean, we've kind of earned it. Like, have we not covered the story as much as anyone in the history of the planet?
Yes, I see it, Nick. Yes, the Padres will always have something to talk about. I get that.
I agree with that.
But
I do.
Like, again, peeling back that curtain one more time, all we talk about is like, dude, Roki's great for our channel. Roki's great for this radio.
I mean, he's going to be really great
for
the channel, and he's going to be really great for Padres fans if he comes to San Diego.
Like, Roki would be a talking point almost every day here in San Diego.
100%.
Every Roki start would be like, a must-see event, right? Every single one of his starts would be must-watch television if you're a Padres fan.
What if he ends up going to LA?
Then he's dead to me.
No, he's still going to be topical.
No, he's dead to me.
I know. If he goes to Toronto, nobody's going to care.
It will hurt even more if he goes to LA and then he turns into like Paul Skeens 2.0. Then I'll be like, oh my God. Padres were this close.
All right, 877-767-4760. We'll continue to speculate. We have Will Brinson, senior NFL writer, CBS Sports at 4 p.m. We have Aztec basketball tickets we'll give away in the next few minutes, so don't go anywhere. And we have Dave right now, who's back with us on Jon and Jim. Dave, thanks for calling in, man.
Thank you, gentlemen. It's getting a little bit windy out there, so hold on to your hats. We'll be okay. We'll get through it. Listen, here's a thought. I think maybe what we ought to do is have a contest. And here's the contest. It's really simple. We need to, as listeners, figure out how many times both of you knuckleheads have said the word Roki Sasaki in the last 3 months.
It's a lot.
Then you're dead.
A lot.
The drinking game, you're dead.
Right. And all of that money will pay for his salary. We don't have to worry about that point. Because I think, seriously, guys, we had a nickel for every time you guys said that word.
Yeah.
Hell, we'd have no problems at this point. So,
agreed.
Look, in all seriousness, I'll worry about it when March 28th comes around. And that's when we're going to really know once and for all where we're going to, at least start off 2025. But until that time comes, I mean, just sit back. I just had a Klondike bar, man.
Oh, it must be nice, Dave.
Aren't those good?
Great.
Aren't those great? Yeah, so have a Klondike bar, sit back, relax, and let's see what happens, man.
Dude, I haven't heard about Klondike bars, and thank you, Dave, in like 25 years. Didn't they used to have an ad campaign? Brent will know this. Something about like have a Klondike bar? That was like,
what would you do for a Klondike bar?
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what I would do. I would eat one if Roki Sasaki signed here.
Yeah, what would you do for a Klondike bar? I would give it up for Roki Sasaki.
Yeah, right. So Dave basically just wanted to say we've talked about him a lot. Yeah. Sit back, relax, have a Klondike bar.
We've said his name a lot on this show.
A ton.
I don't care.
Well, by the way, rightfully.
They're not giving us anything else to talk about.
Well, they're one of the last 2 teams standing or whatever.
If the team actually did something, then we wouldn't be sitting on our asses every day talking about Roki Sasaki.
What about 619 that says Sasaki in San Diego during the NLDS just tells me that the Padres have a deeper connection to him more than we've already known. I mean, is that even accurate? I don't see why he would make it up. Steve Phillips, former GM, says Roki was in San Diego for the NLDS.
Okay.
I know. I'm thinking the same thing, but like, why?
Because the Dodgers were playing the Padres?
Or is it because the Padres were playing the Dodgers?
I mean, if I were him, the one game I would choose to go to would probably be Game 5, Darvish versus Yamamoto.
But that was in LA.
I know.
Steve Phillips said it was in San Diego.
Okay. Does that matter? Probably not.
I agree. I agree with that.
I mean, we're dissecting every little thing now.
Everything. Dude, yesterday we spent 30 minutes on the video.
Right.
That you illegally obtained.
As we should have.
I know.
Illegally obtained. You're the one that found it.
I did.
And you said you showed me it.
Because someone put in our chat, hey, check out Reddit.
Yeah.
I need to go back to Reddit, seriously.
Reddit's
I'm going back to
man.
Padres Reddit and see if anything new.
I actually
what?
Little cross promotion. I was listening to one of Marty's YouTube channels the other day.
Yeah.
Special guest, Darren Smith. And
what's up, Darren? Oh, wait, he's not with us.
No.
Is that okay?
She mentioned that Joe Musgrove, when she talked to Joe for one of her videos, said that the way that he consumes sports news is through Reddit.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm like, what? Is that like a new thing that we've just been missing out on?
It's not a new thing. People have been using Reddit for 10 plus years.
I know, but to consume all of your sports news.
It's smart. You get all the stories in a timeline.
Okay.
You know, it's smart. I love it. I'm a member.
Marty.
Reddit/Padres or whatever. I'm here. I'm here right now.
Okay, great.
I don't know what that means. All right. We'll give away Aztec basketball tickets for Saturday on the other side. So we'll do that coming up. And then Will Brinson, senior NFL writer, CBS Sports, he's going to join us at 4 p.m. If you missed our conversation with Kyle Glazer, you'll hear it coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. We're here until 6. We've got you covered. It's Jon and Jim. AM radio keeps vital voices accessible. Congress can secure its future, but we need your help. Text AM 52886 now to support keeping AM radio in cars. Tell your member of Congress to pass legislation now to keep AM radio in cars. We have Aztec basketball tickets next hour. During Trainwreck Radio, we have Will Brinson, CBS Sports senior NFL writer. He will join us coming up at 4 p.m.
Okay.
Rams dominant over the Vikings last night.
Are you surprised by that?
I was shocked. I thought the Vikings looked awful.
Brad's not surprised.
But I was surprised by the margin, as was Las Vegas, since the Vikings were, a favorite?
I thought going into the game, and I said it yesterday, Matthew Stafford versus Sam Darnold.
Yeah, that wasn't a fair fight.
And it wasn't all Sam's fault. Sam looked bad in that game.
Some of it was.
But, the offensive line gave up 9 sacks.
It's a big number.
Defense gave up 27 points. And also
did they, though? Because there were turnovers
20,
galore.
I guess 20 points.
Yeah.
But Kevin O'Connell called a horrible game. Hey, run the ball maybe? I don't know. Stop trying to make Sam Darnold throw the ball like he's Tom Brady.
Sure.
Or Patrick Mahomes. Like maybe give him some help and run the football. And the last 2 weeks, just complete duds for the Vikings.
Oh, complete duds. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Remember, there was all that speculation. We talked to Will last week about it. Could Kevin O'Connell be a trade target of another NFL team? And after the way the season ended?
Yeah, and Sam Darnold's not getting $50 million, even though I know Colin desperately wants him to. Or
what was that all about? You were calling him out last night.
Yeah, I was, because Colin, bro, you were wrong, and I know
Colin was wrong.
I know you have your segments where I was right, where I was wrong, but you were so wrong on this.
Mm-hmm.
That should be the lead of your show. It wasn't, and he's walking it back. Whatever. Sam Darnold was never worth $50 million, or would be worth $50 million. I almost look at it like, when you look at player stats from the steroid era, like Brady Anderson, and you see awful year, 50 home runs.
Mm-hmm.
What's the outlier here? Sam's not going to be with the same setup next year wherever he goes. He's not going to have Kevin O'Connell. He's not going to have a pretty decent offensive line. Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Jordan Addison.
So you're saying it was more a flash in the pan than a 10-year trend?
He's going to have to go to a situation that is already set up really well for him to succeed. He's not going to take a team over and have awful weapons and be good.
Now listen, the whole weekend of Wild Card was not overly entertaining. I was sitting there watching
one
yesterday.
Good game. That was it.
This game was so one-sided. You're watching this game with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They're down 27-9. They're running the football.
You made it that far?
They were just running out the clock, trailing 27-9 in the fourth quarter.
I had to watch the end of that game because of my new television. I don't want to see how nice it was.
Yeah.
I was
it wasn't very nice.
It wasn't nice. The game was awful.
I'm sure the TV was great. All right. So we've debuted a new segment occasionally here on Jon and Jim.
We have an open still or no?
Yeah,
we do.
I think so.
Let's play the open. That doesn't make any sense.
Now we go into the mind of Jon Schaefer. Meat free. AJ Preller's daily lunch menu.
You started stalking me.
It's time for John-isms.
What does that mean?
AJ Preller's daily lunch
and again,
menu.
It does sound like
me.
It does sound like, is it meat freak or meat free?
I think it's saying free.
It should be free because I'm not a meat freak because I don't even eat meat.
No, you're not.
Anyway.
I like it because it makes no sense.
Here's what I wanted to say. We have Will Brinson at 4 p.m. We'll get back to Roki coming up throughout the last couple of hours of the show. So San Diego State plays Colorado State tonight, right? Mount West, Viejas Arena, big game. I always say they're big games. It's a big game. Colorado State's 4-1 in the league. San Diego State is 3-2. Let me just say this. Aztecs coming off this loss to New Mexico, and I'm reading threads and message boards and Reddits and social media, and I'm seeing things like most embarrassing loss. Brent sees the tax people. They're no longer in at-large consideration. Well, hold on. Let's roll this back.
They have to win the Mountain West tournament to get in.
I'm like, first of all, it's January 14th, and there's so much to still, be determined in the weeks and months ahead. Let me say this definitively. This young San Diego State team has punched above its weight class to this point. The 4 games in the Players Era Festival and Gonzaga, they were dogs in all 4 of those games, and they went 2-2. They beat Houston. You know where Houston is right now in the metrics, Jim? I know you're on like Reddit, but they're third. At KenPom. They're third, I think, at the net. They've got that in their back pocket all the way from now until Selection Sunday. They were dogs against Creighton, Oregon, Houston, Gonzaga. They won 2 of those games. Yeah. So just because they lost at the Pit this past weekend, now make no mistake, tonight's a huge game, and they got to win this game at home to continue to solidify their at-large candidacy. But losing at the Pit last week by 14 points does nothing to change the Aztecs' path. They lost by 18 points last year at the Pit. And they made the Sweet 16, and they were, what, a 6 seed? A 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. So don't tell me because they lost 62-48 to New Mexico, everything's done, and this team's got no shot. Because if you're saying that, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you have to look at Dutch's track record and know that as seasons go on, his teams get better. And you also have to look at this team and see freshman, sophomore, freshman. Like, this is such a young team to all of a sudden expect them to play like that veteran Final Four national championship team. That's a tough ask. And if a majority of these guys return next year, then they're going to be even better. But so far, there's not been. Oh, I guess the Utah State game was like the outlier this year so far, where I'm like, oh, that wasn't good. But
in terms of the way the game went,
right,
but the loss wasn't bad.
Right. You're right. How the game went. How the game went. But, on the road against Boise, you expected them to, they were dogs in that game.
Yeah.
Guess what? They won going away.
Yeah.
They were dogs going to New Mexico. That's always a tough place to play. Guess what? Kind of played out how everyone expected. Now tonight against Colorado State, this is a game that I'm assuming you're favored in.
It opened as 8.5 points. It's now 6.5, I believe.
So if you don't win tonight, then you start to say things like, yeah, they're going to have to do a lot more.
They got some work.
They have to work.
No, I agree with that. Like, you're going to have to hold serve. What's the line, Brett?
It's up to 7 now.
Okay, so 7 points. I mean, that's not overly large. Like, this should be a good game. Colorado State has won 3 straight. They have arguably the best prospect in the Mountain West. Maybe he and Miles Bird. His name is Nick Clifford. He's a really good player, 17 points and 10 rebounds. So they got a really talented wing. They're playing good basketball. Nico Medved's a really good coach. Colorado State's been in the NCAA tournament, I think, 2 of the last 3 years. I've seen them win at Viejas Arena previously, I think during COVID, when they came back from 26 points down to stun the Aztecs. So I think tonight's a big game, and I think the Aztecs need to win this game. But before we start making these wide sweeping judgments about San Diego State, I would clarify by saying they're super young and they've punched above their weight class, considering everything in terms of where they are right now. Season ends right now. They're in the NCAA tournament, but the season's not over and they have real work to do, including tonight. They need to win tonight against Colorado State. They need to beat UNLV on Saturday at home.
Well said.
And they need to win their home games by and large because it's hard on the road, man. New Mexico, Boise, Nevada.
You got to hold home court.
Got to hold home court, especially here. It's such a good home court environment. The crowd is so impactful. Yeah. They feed off the energy in the building. They win at a 90% clip here. They got to find a way to bounce back from New Mexico. You can't let, what's the adage? You can't let New Mexico beat you twice. So you got to bounce back here tonight and beat Colorado State. Pre-game coverage at 7 p.m., tip-off at 8 p.m., Ted Leitner on the call. All right, on the other side, Will Brinson, senior writer, CBS Sports. We're down to 8 in the NFL. His thoughts on Wild Card Weekend and looking ahead to this weekend in the National Football League. We're here until 6 p.m. If you missed our conversation with Kyle Glazer on Roki Sasaki, we'll share that with you coming up in the 5 o'clock hour as well. Pre-game coverage at 7. Jon and Jim until 6 p.m. Hour 3 of Jon and Jim is next. Stay with us.
This update is brought to you by unbound.org. San Diego State takes on Colorado State tonight at Viejas Arena. 8 p.m. tip time, 7 p.m. is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. And the divisional round is set in the NFL after the Rams beat the Vikings last night 27-9. Rams will take on the Eagles on Sunday afternoon in Philadelphia. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
It's Jon and Jim to warm up that drive home.
I think that he's meeting with the Dodgers for a second time. That was an inevitability. He was always going to meet with the Dodgers a second time. Now, I always wanted to be the closer. Being second to the Blue Jays was good, and I didn't know where the Dodgers were in there. The fact that the Dodgers are the closer, I don't love that.
I'm terrified by that. The international signings and the fact that the Dodgers get the last crack at Roki. You always want to be the last team to meet with that player. You just do.
Now, time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 3, Jon and Jim here until 6 p.m. this hour. Going to catch up with Will Brinson, senior NFL writer, CBS Sports right now. So Will's going to stop by as always here on Jon and Jim. Then Mark Ziegler from the UT will get us ready for the Aztecs tonight. Aztecs and Colorado State. At 8 p.m., pregame coverage will begin at 7. Plus, we have Aztec basketball tickets for Saturday to give away later this hour. But always great to have Will Brinson back with us here in San Diego on Jon and Jim. Will, were you surprised by the lack of competitive games? Of course, we had Commanders, Bucks coming down to a doink. The other 5, relatively non-competitive. What were your primary takeaways from Wild Card Weekend? And thanks for hopping on.
Well, I would say, guys, yes, a little surprised, but maybe we got spoiled by the Packers beating the Cowboys last year. Plus, it was still better than the college football playoffs, which were absolutely atrocious. I think this is sort of the natural kind of run out of expanding the playoffs on both sides, right? I mean, you go from 4 teams to 12 in college. And all of a sudden, teams that would have no business playing against these elite tier. And in college, it's weird this year too because there were only 4 good teams. And then in the NFL, this year in particular, and we talked about this a bunch. It's a lot of elite teams and a lot of bad teams, right? And I think as a result, what you have is sort of I don't want to say middle class, but you can end up in situations I think there are, and I would say this: there's 3 good teams. There's 3 really, really good teams in the AFC: Ravens, Bills, Chiefs. NFC's wide open, but you have potentials for blowouts. So I think it matches up with the profile of the season we had relative to the teams that got in the playoffs. If that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely, it does. Was there anything that surprised you the most from Wild Card Weekend?
I mean, I guess Jaden Daniels, just in terms of man,
it's clutch.
You think you might be overrating a guy based on his ability to pull stuff out of his rear end and make magic at the end of games. It's weird because every time a great quarterback comes into the NFL, it used to be compared to Joe Montana. Then you compare him to Tom Brady. Then you compare him to Patrick Mahomes. We never see that comparison with Jaden Daniels. I mean, he's like Lamar Jackson, but with Patrick Mahomes' clutch gene.
Yeah. I
mean, I don't think the Commanders are going to the Super Bowl, and I'd be surprised if they went. They're 9-point dogs to the Lions this week, and I think Detroit will, especially off a bye, come out scorching hot and probably run away with it. But man, I would not count this guy out. He makes play after. He's like a Lamar Jackson meets Joe Burrow, just for the LSU comparison. It's wild. He makes play after play and just never. They've won 5 straight games on the last play. It's insane.
Will Brinson, CBS Sports senior NFL writer. I mean, again, it gives you a shot. Like you said, you wouldn't expect to see him in the Super Bowl, but he alone gives you a shot in a close game to maybe pull that rabbit out of a hat. Before we get to the divisional games, these 4 games coming up this weekend, obviously these coaching moves around the NFL, Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys parting ways. Any thoughts here? I mean, we're seeing the speculation on like the
like you talked about last week. Just wait it out, and you don't have to do any compensation for Mike McCarthy.
That's
for
right.
the Bears.
But like, what do you make of the reports of Deion Sanders? Is that at all legitimate or no?
I'm going to do the thing I've done on every radio, not every radio hit, because like you guys mean more to me than anyone else. but locally, I live in North Carolina. Chapel Bill is a thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Go get him, Jerry. Go get Bill Belichick. Like, I mean, there's this whole thing where Belichick was kind of interested in the Raiders, but maybe not. And then, like, the Athletic comes out and says he's not leaving Chapel Hill, but he hasn't hired anyone that no McDaniels, no Patricia, no Joe Judge, none of these coaches that he always brings on his staff have come to Chapel Hill, even though they don't have jobs right now. Like, Matt Patricia has a podcast. He's like us.
Yeah.
He might as well be us, except he, once coordinated the defense and gave up like 50 points to Nick Foles.
Right.
Like, none of those guys have come to Chapel Hill, which is a red flag to me. There's something built in where Belichick, if he leaves, when he leaves Chapel Hill, Steve Belichick, his son, takes over. So he can stroke a $10 million check, and his son becomes the head coach of a college football program with a direct pipeline, if he's good, to the college football playoffs. And the Cowboys are a job that were once, this head coaching job once was, run by Bill Parcells, his mentor, who was there when Jerry Jones was the owner and the GM. Like, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think Deion would take the job if he got offered. I don't know that Jerry Jones will necessarily make that offer. I think Belichick's more likely, personally. I really do. And this is not my NC State fandom coming out, because I want Belichick to leave Carolina. I really don't want him there.
Right.
But I do think Belichick is live for the Cowboys job.
I just want chaos. I want it to be. I mean, when the Cowboys have an open position, I mean, that is set up for with Jerry in charge. That anything can happen.
How about Troy Aikman on Monday night? By the way, I thought that was like really telling. And I tweeted out, like, I heard it. I was like, wow, I can't believe that. Like, Scott Van Pelt's doing a softball setup interview question where he's like, coveted job, and like, he's right. Like, it's a Cowboys job. You're running the Star. It's a high profile job. He's like, coveted job, and Troy Aikman, a Hall of Fame lifer Cowboy. It's like, I don't know if it's that coveted a job. Basically, he threw Jerry Jones under the bus and was pointing out that it's not that great a job, and he's probably right. But it is a job that Belichick or maybe Deion Sanders, like, in other words, like Ben Johnson, who's the top candidate in this cycle, unlikely to take that job. However, Belichick or Deion Sanders, like, Deion's not getting looks from other NFL teams.
No.
Playing for the Cowboys, of course. Maybe that makes sense. Belichick floated his name for Chapel Hill to try and get interest from NFL teams. Didn't, but now he's got a job open that he was interested in, and they might want him. It's utter chaos, and I love it.
And Jerry, like, Super Bowl morning, they're gonna announce that Deion or Bill's their new head coach and completely hijack the Super Bowl.
Like NFL honors, they'll be like inducting. Yeah, exactly. He will find a way to steal the spotlight from someone.
Oh, absolutely. It's the only thing that Jerry knows how to do.
He does know how to win.
Other than that, try to win. Yeah. Getting to the divisional round here, I think everyone can agree, like, Chiefs over the Texans, but the biggest matchup of the weekend, obviously, Bills Ravens. Do you feel like this game, it could be such a back and forth game and such a physically fought game that the winner of this game is going to be at a disadvantage going up against the Chiefs, when you feel like the Chiefs are going to take care of business against the Texans pretty easily?
Well, okay, I'm going to push back on the Chiefs thing a bit, because I think the Chiefs have broken gambling.
Okay.
That's my hot take of the week.
I like it.
They should be -3 against the spread, but also -5,000 on the money line.
Right, exactly. Yes.
They're going to find a way to win, but they're not going to win pretty. And we'll see what Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have cooked up. 24 days. That's a long time.
That is, sure. Yeah.
I mean, that's a long time to be off. And CJ Stroud was terrible until that accidental pass.
Yeah.
And then, like,
suddenly got him in rhythm. He starts cooking. Nico Collins is shredding. I think the Texans keep it close. I think the Chiefs win. There was a really good teaser available with the Ravens plus 8.5 and the Chiefs minus, I guess, 1.5. It's gone now because the Ravens are favored in Baltimore. First time in the history of the Bills in the playoffs, they've been dogs at home.
Wow.
Right.
And I think the Bills to win the Super Bowl before the season. I am petrified of the Ravens. Their defense is outstanding now. They changed things up, moved Kyle Hamilton to deep in the backfield, midway through the season. They were a pass funnel before. They are much, much better now. So, I'm concerned about it. But you can't, dude, if you give me Josh Allen as a dog to the guy that he believes that just took his MVP award away, I want Josh Allen all day. And I think the Bills find a way to win. But to your actual question, are they? Maybe a slight disadvantage in terms of the physicality. Mm-hmm. I think if the Ravens win, they will not be at a disadvantage because they will pound the ball on the Bills. And Derrick Henry runs wild. They come in steaming hot. Go to KC. Maybe he rips off a long run early. If the Bills win and Derrick Henry does minimal damage to the ground, I think they're fine going to KC. Ultimately, on CBS, by the way, 2 straight games of if KC wins, Baltimore, Buffalo, and the winner of that one takes on the Chiefs in Arrowhead. I mean, talk about theater, man. This is what we want in the AFC playoffs.
Oh, absolutely.
What about, I think from an Eagles perspective, you got to be really scared to see the way the Rams are playing right now. They were utterly dominant last night. They have Matt Stafford, who's won at a high level in the postseason. I don't know if it's house money or not. I know it's a shorter week. I know they're traveling, but again, they're +6 in Philadelphia. I would not be surprised. I'm curious to get your thoughts. I would not be surprised in the least bit if the Rams won on Sunday in Philadelphia.
Well, I've got Bills over Rams in the Super Bowl before the season. So
right.
I'm
locked
the biggest
in.
Rams. I'm the biggest East Coast Rams guy on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And for those that care in San Diego, I was, of course, a Chargers fan with Phillip Rivers. Rivers left. I became a Colts fan. Rivers retired. So I gravitated my boy Matthew Stafford, who I've always loved. So I became a Rams fan as an objective media member. But
totally,
yeah, dude, the Rams could go win that game easily. They have to, the 2 teams played in the regular season. I think Eagles had 300 yards. Saquon went wild. If they stop the run, and that defense looked awesome against the Vikings. I know the offensive line isn't close to what the Eagles are offering here, but if the Rams defense comes to play and it's a tough environment, yeah, they can win. I think Sean McVay is probably the second best coach in football behind Andy Reid. And you saw it against the Vikings. He loves to run the football with Kyron Williams. He ran it twice in the first 2 drives. He was letting Matthew Stafford sling it. And I think you need to do the same thing against the Eagles, who are a roadblock against the run.
Sure.
Come out, let Stafford boom, 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 quick hitters to Puka, get Cooper Kupp involved. Tyler Higbee should be back for this game again, and he was huge in that game against the Vikings. Run that short stuff, get the ball out quickly. Environment's tough. It's outdoors. It's not a perfect scenario for the Rams. But I think you look at what the Rams did when they won the Super Bowl, back in 2021. It's a similar situation. And Stafford, unless I did the math wrong, I think he's still the all-time leader in playoff passing yards per game over Kurt Warner. Right. He's a gamer, man. The Rams are absolutely live to go in there and win in Philadelphia.
Well, we're looking forward to the weekend. There should be some really compelling games, probably closer played than this past weekend in Wild Card Weekend, and then divisional games all the way to the AFC and NFC Championship next weekend. So we'll catch up with you again next week, but we appreciate you hopping on here in San Diego.
Thanks, Will.
All right, boys. Talk to you next week.
All right, great stuff. Will Brinson, CBS Sports Senior NFL Rider, brought to you by Humul Casino, 7 restaurants, thrilling games, and a sports pub, voted San Diego's best. Humul Casino is fun above all else. Mark Ziegler from the UT on the importance of tonight for San Diego State. He'll join us at 4:30. Plus, on the other side, let's collectively decipher a Buster Olney tweet on Roki Sasaki. That's next on Jon and Jim. All right, don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Hey, guys, it is Schaefer, and Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast with no appraisals or paperwork or waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven technology gets you approved and funded in as little as one day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 a month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. Get your free quote now with no hard credit pull. 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. NMLSconsumeraccess.org. All right, make sure to download the all-new iHeartRadio app and then put Jon and Jim in your presets. San Diego Sports 760 in your presets. Never miss a show. Catch us live or the podcast. The all-new iHeartRadio app available worldwide unless you're Jon Schaefer.
Correct.
Available now. All right. Buster Olney has tweeted within the last few minutes.
Okay.
Let's decipher this from ESPN's Buster Olney. He writes this: in Roki Sasaki's past meetings with teams, he has come across as a very quiet, very serious person. This is being interpreted by some teams as a sign that he might prefer to be in a place where he isn't the center of attention in a smaller market or among more established stars. So he left it out. He's like, yeah, he wants to go to a smaller market because he's a really serious guy. That makes no sense, obviously. But they said, or he wants to be with more established stars because he's quiet. So he said nothing.
It's going to be so stupid when he chooses the Dodgers, and this whole narrative of smaller market.
Yeah.
Just was a facade the whole entire time. Like, it was just stupid.
Why is everyone pushing that? He's a really serious guy, so he would love a small market. What? What does that even mean?
I mean, I can interpret that as this. He doesn't want to be the center of attention. He won't be the center of attention in LA.
Yeah, but he will be here.
He will be here. You know?
Yeah.
Like I said, it's going to be every single Roki start is the number one headline in this town. Every single Roki start for the foreseeable future. Won't be that way in LA, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we get into the season, like, I don't think Roki starting is going to be like the Beatles coming to America.
What do you mean by that?
When the Beatles came to America, it was a big deal.
I know, but like, do you mean nationally or locally?
I would guess both. Do you think a Roki start next year is bigger than Dylan Cease?
Yes.
I think his first start,
every single start, will be must-watch television.
I don't think Yamamoto last year in LA, every time he started, was like, man, it is a big deal.
But he also, I feel like, isn't coveted like Roki is right now.
Probably true. I agree with that.
And what do fans love to watch more than anything? The team's top prospects playing every single day.
Yes.
So whenever there's a Jackson Merrill at bat, I mean, last year got to a point of like must-watch television.
Yeah, it did in the summer. Yep.
Every single Roki start, if he were to choose San Diego, I'm telling you, dude, would be easily by far and away, at least for me, from my standpoint, from my viewing, would be the number one thing. And I would try to stop everything I'm doing to watch Roki. Matt Waldron's pitching, I can work around it.
No, I get it.
You know, Dylan Cease, yeah, I got to watch Dylan Cease, but Michael King, yeah, sorry. Roki to me would be far and away like I got to stop everything and plan my entire day around watching this Padres game if he chooses the Padres.
Do you guys agree with that? 70470 started with team or 877-767-4760. I'd be very excited.
That's how I would feel.
I just don't know if
everyone else
June
would feel,
1st in Milwaukee at 4 p.m. Like, if it's going to be like,
oh yeah,
I'd be surprised. I mean, first of all, he's not going to throw what you just heard Kyle Glazer say. He's not even going to throw 150 innings next year. They're going to baby him like they did with Yamamoto in LA. He's not going to go deep into games. So, he's going to average 4 2/3 innings per start over 25 starts. The math on that is 125 innings, right? They're going to be very cautious with his innings. He's not going 8 innings ever.
And especially if he comes out guns blazing, he is just like amazing. It will turn into like not to the Paul Skeens effect, because I think Livy Dunn helped him a lot with the national exposure. But I guarantee you, every Roki start, if he piles up and he has like really good outing after really good outing, you'll see it on a national level every time he pitches.
Well, yeah, no, I think internationally it'll be even bigger because he's a Japanese superstar. Of course, any pitcher, like if it's Fernando Mania, well, yeah, when a guy has a 1 ERA as a rookie in the big leagues, it's going to transcend the sport. But what if he doesn't? What if he's just good? What if he posts Yamamoto's year in San Diego, makes 18 starts?
Well, he's also the number one prospect in baseball the second he signs with the team.
Correct. But I don't think that means he's better than Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
I'm not saying he's better than these guys. I'm just saying from a watchability or whatever standpoint, you're going to want to watch a Roki Sasaki start like every single time. Because
is this guy a better pitcher today than Blake Snell today?
No.
Okay.
But
that's my point.
You are watching because he's going to hopefully grow into that. And you want to watch for the possibility of him going out and having an outing where he goes 8 innings scoreless and strikes out 13.
I agree with that into the future. I think that is hopefully the pitcher, if he comes here, that they're getting. I think immediately it'll be massive. When they immediately signed Manny Machado, it was massive, right? But I think once you get going with the season, it's going to be dependent on the way Roki pitches.
That will be a big factor. But for me personally, I don't care about anybody else. Me personally,
well, yeah. I mean, me personally, it's easy to say. For
me personally, yeah. I will stop damn near anything I'm doing.
Do you think watch a Roki start? Do you think a Wednesday day game?
Yeah.
And those are some of the games they won't sell out, right? They'll play a Wednesday day game against
35K.
That's what I'm saying. But they're not going to sell out a Wednesday day game with Roki pitching.
Who knows? Maybe.
No, they would if it's his first start. If it's his second start, sure. I'm just saying, is it going to be the Padres are already super popular here.
Mm-hmm.
Does this take them to a next level here?
I just don't be surprised if it does turn into that Roki Mania, where every start it's like, dude, gotta watch this guy pitch. And it turns into that ballpark gets an uptick of a couple thousand fans.
Sure. No, I mean, I think so. But again, I think they're already drawn.
But if you get 35K and you add another 4 to that, you're damn near at 40K on Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
To watch Roki pitch, absolutely. He's going to be a draw, man.
Of course he's going to be a draw. Of course he's going to be a
here
draw.
In San Diego. If he goes to LA, I could give 2, you know what.
Well, they draw anyway. And they draw here anyway.
But from a personal standpoint, he signs with the Padres. I believe that it will be must-watch television, and it will be must-watch television for me.
He'll be the best Padre, or the most best is the wrong word.
No.
The most celebrated or the most can't miss Padre, more than Machado, Merrill, Tatis. Those guys play every day.
At this moment in time, yeah.
Okay. Mark Ziegler from the UT will join us next. We'll get you ready for the Aztecs tonight.
Why do you hate Roki?
I don't.
This update's brought to you by unbound.org. Aztecs take on Colorado State tonight at Viejas Arena, 8 p.m. tip time, 7 p.m. is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. And the divisional round is now set after the Rams beat up on the Vikings last night, beating them 27-9. Rams will take on the Eagles Sunday afternoon. You can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
All right, another big one tonight in the Mountain West for San Diego State, back home, taking on a surging Colorado State team that's won 3 straight. Colorado State is 4-1 in the league. San Diego State 3-2, trying to hold serve at home. And Mark Ziegler from the UT, who does such a good job covering San Diego State men's basketball, back with us right now on Jon and Jim. Now, it's one thing, Mark, to lose in Albuquerque. They lost last year and were a 5 seed eventually in the NCAA tournament. But it feels like now getting back home with Colorado State and UNLV, and this to me tonight is a sneaky, tough game. These are, I don't know if they're must wins, but these games feel almost bigger than this past weekend in Albuquerque. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. And I agree with you. This is a sneaky little game here because Colorado State is, I mean, they lost Isaiah Stevens from last year. They lost some other seniors. They're really not anywhere near last year's team, but they're starting to play pretty well. And if you overlook them, they come in and sting you. They've already won in Nevada, so they're certainly capable. And this would not be a good metric loss. This would be the kind of loss that would knock the Aztecs onto the bubble. They're clearly not on the bubble. They're in the tournament, I think, pretty safely. But these are the type of games, Colorado State at home, Nevada at home, are the 2 teams that I think are good enough to win in Viejas if everything breaks right for them. And obviously going to be very tough on the road, but you got to be really careful.
What's it been about Viejas that they have not played their best basketball there, that they've been better on the road, New Mexico withstanding?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think, and we can all be dime store psychologists here. It's a young team, and I think young teams are impacted by crowds more. Their outside external stimulation affects them more than, a 5th-year senior who just is able to block it all out because they've been in it so much and they understand how to just play and sort of have tunnel vision. These guys, if you notice in these games at home, they're waving to the crowd, trying to get them amped up, and that tells me they're hearing the crowd and they're cognizant of whether they're being loud or loud enough, and that means they're not 100% focused on the task at hand. And so I think that's part of it. They maybe get a little bit too hyped, but they have played some very good basketball at home. I mean, the first 18 minutes against Utah State as well as they played all season. It's just that they haven't played consistently for 40 minutes. I mean, the reverse was true against Air Force. They did not play well for the first 10 minutes, and then they played extremely well for the last 30. So we'll see what we get tonight, and we'll see how sorry that they feel for themselves after losing at New Mexico. But they have to play a little bit better than they have if they're going to beat a team like Colorado State.
Mark Ziegler with us right now from the UT. I know you've reported on this. I think the next update for Reese Waters is at some point within the next week. I think maybe you wrote January 20th. What do you think here, Mark? Is this realistic that Reese Waters returns this year, or is it becoming unrealistic?
Well, Brian Dutcher has been really adamant that neither of them are going to make a decision or think about it until he is cleared. And so the first thing that has to happen on January 20th is he has to get cleared. Now, he's already had 2 scans in the previous 6 weeks where he wasn't cleared. So there's a chance he might not be cleared. If he's not cleared at this one, then for sure the season's going to be shut down for him, I would think. But I suspect they're really expecting him to be cleared. He was pretty close last time. He's made progress. He's out of the boot. At practice, he was shooting in the boot every now and then. Then he was shooting out of the boot, but just flat-footed. And I noticed in the last week he's been shooting going up on his toes, not really jumping, but up on his toes, shooting. And looks really good. I mean, he's just shooting with no defenders, but it's Reese Waters. He has the most pure jump shot on the team. So I don't know how much like extracycle stuff he's been doing to get his fitness back and how long that would take. And that would be the biggest question. So let's say on January 20th, he's cleared. Is it 10 days? Is it 2 weeks? Is it 3 weeks? Is it 4 weeks? And so that becomes a question. If it's really pretty quick, he can sort of get back to where he can play 15 minutes a game. I think he might give it a shot. If it's going to be 3 weeks and it's going to be in the middle of February, I think he shuts it down. And so I think the timing of the rehab will be the bigger determinant of whether he comes back than the actual scan.
How big of a problem is this rebounding with this team? 17, I think it was, offensive rebounds for New Mexico. 18. I mean,
18-3.
Yeah, like this must drive Dutch absolutely crazy.
Yeah, the way I kind of look at a young basketball team, and I just know from my days of coaching, when you have young teams, they're all kind of the same in that it's like a ship that you're sailing on the sea and you're trying to get to a destination. And all of a sudden there's a leak in the stern. And so you go back there and you fix it. And then while you're fixing that, a leak springs in the bow and you go up to the bow. And then like there's a tear in the sails and you climb at the sails to fix that. And then wait, there's a leak on the port side. And it's just, that's kind of how this team is, that was the leak and they thought they'd fixed it and they had some really good rebounding games. You could just see the effort on rebounding was so much better. And then all of a sudden, it just vanishes. Now, part of it might have been elevation. Part of it was, chasing down long rebounds. And that's very, very typical of teams in elevation. I know some people don't want to hear about elevation, but it's a real thing. It's just players are a step slow and, their defense and rebounding and little things like that are predicated on being, right there and being quick and beating people to the ball. When you can't do that, you're going to get in trouble. I don't know if 18-3 is all elevation and none of that's effort. But I think we'll see how it goes tonight. This is not a very good rebounding team. They're a small team. They start 6'2", like 6'3", 6'6", 6'7", 6'8". Nobody over 6'8". And so San Diego State should have a size advantage, and let's see how they do at home, out of the elevation against a small team. Now, if they don't rebound well tonight, then I think, it's becoming a bigger problem.
Mark Ziegler from the UT is with us. You look at the development of Miles Byrd, and you can't help but think that you're looking at a future NBA prospect, right? I mean, this guy does everything in some capacity well for San Diego State. What do you make of his development and what may come? I know we're looking ahead, but I mean, here's a guy that I guess could have some looks at the end of the season, right?
If he continues on this path, I mean, he's the type of guy like there's going to be a player on Colorado State tonight, Nick Clifford, who started to show some promise last year, was kind of in that same boat. Like, the scouts were intrigued. He has that NBA type body. He's long, lanky, he can rebound, he can score, he can do a little bit of everything, shoots the three really, really well. He's active, plays pretty good defense. But he decided to come back for another year to really show what he could do. And he's really showing it. Right. He's averaging almost a double-double. He's the man on their team, and he's accepted that role and embraced it, and has done very well in it. And I think that's the type of thing where, he'll get some attention, but I mean, clearly his body isn't ready to go in the NBA yet. In terms of Miles, his body isn't. And this is the perfect situation where you come back next year and really show what you can do. When the scouts are going to be looking at you from the beginning of the season, and so I think. We'll see what happens next year. Obviously, he'll have some temptations. There'll be some NIL out there. But if he does the smart thing, comes back to a program that he knows and knows him, he could have a really big year next year.
Mark, with the remaining schedule, where do you see the toughest part of the remaining schedule at?
Well, it's really a lot easier. That's one of the things I wrote about today. That, yes, they're 3-2. Yes, they're 2.5 games out of first place already, just 5 games in. But they've already played their hardest home game statistically was Utah State. Two of their 3 hardest road games were at Boise, at New Mexico, and the other one would obviously be at Utah State. So those are all out of the way. They only have 2 quad 1 games left on the schedule. They're favored in 13 of the 15 remaining regular season games. It doesn't mean they're going to win them all, but they're going to be favored in this next group of games. They're favored by 9+ points in every game according to the metrics. So this is the part of the schedule they can do some damage. They're really, the very end of the schedule has some tricky games, but there isn't anything like they just went through. And so this is their chance to really, really make some progress and string together some wins and, win 7 out of 8 or 8 out of 10 or, 9 out of 11, that type of thing, and really get on a roll.
Mark, appreciate it as always. We're looking forward to tonight, 8 p.m., San Diego State, Colorado State, Viejas Arena. And thanks for hopping on, Jon and Jim.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Appreciate it. Mark Ziegler from the UT. All right, call right now if you want 2 free tickets to Saturday's Aztecs game, the showdown against UNLV at 5 p.m. this Saturday. First 2 callers will be our contestants for trivia. We call it Trainwreck Radio. The number to call is 877-767-4760. 2 free tickets for San Diego State UNLV Saturday at 5 p.m. Call right now if you want them. First 2 callers will be our contestants. 877-767-4760. That's next right here on Jon and Jim. All right, with you until 6 p.m., 5 o'clock hour. We'll discuss again the latest with Sasaki meeting with the Dodgers reportedly for a second time today with all the stars, all those Dodgers stars.
Yeah.
In attendance, Los Angeles. Decision day could be as soon as tomorrow for Roki. International window opens up tomorrow, so we've got you covered.
It opens up at midnight, John.
I heard 6 a.m.
Oh, maybe 6 a.m. I don't know.
Well, whatever. Are you going to sleep tonight?
I'll sleep.
You'll sleep well.
I'll sleep well. But will be thinking about Roki the second I wake up.
Are you going to be watching the Aztecs on your brand new TV?
I will, John.
What's like cool? 4K, Roku, like what does it have? What are the features?
It's one of those like 4K special like LED whatever TVs.
Okay.
It's a Roku television.
Roku's the best.
So it's like
all the apps.
It's built into the TV.
Yeah, from YouTube TV to Netflix.
Yeah. So you just sign into your Roku account and everything transfers over to the television. So I don't have to sign in for everything.
Yeah, but what about all those? Like you had so many different streaming services based on girls that you had dated previously.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about having a wife now is she has a family and her family is a lot of the services that we use. So like the Netflix account, her mom's.
Was it
Hulu
part of the
account,
courting?
Her mom's.
Was it part of the courting process? Like, hey, Aaron, do you have a Hulu account?
Yes, it was mentioned.
Like,
It was discussed on our first date. That's how she became the one when she's like, oh yeah, I have all the accounts.
Is there one you wish you had that you don't have? If you could just snap your face, is there anything you don't have that you would like to have right now? HBO Max.
I think maybe Apple TV, just because I've never had it before.
You don't have Apple TV.
I don't really have like a desire to get it. Now,
are you ready for Major League Soccer?
I know that the only way to watch Major League Soccer is on Apple TV, and there's like you have to get like Apple TV Plus or whatever to watch it. It's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, you got to talk to Aaron's dad.
But other than that, no, I have everything else. I'm good.
All right.
I know what I'm gonna watch tonight on my brand new 65-inch television. I'll be watching the season finale of Skeleton Crew. Let's go.
What's that?
Star Wars show.
You mean after the Aztecs?
Probably before the Aztecs.
Yeah, because they don't play until 8. Yeah. Okay.
Must be nice, right?
Is Aaron going to be watching that?
She will be forced to watch it.
Like handcuff her?
Yes, I put tape on her eyelids so they stay
open.
open.
You will watch this, Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, you're watching the show.
Just like a Clockwork Orange.
All right, the latest on Roki. Coming up at 5 p.m. right now. Let's get to this.
The latest. I haven't missed much.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants, we have Terry and we have John. Terry, you called in first. You have your choice of John or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
John.
Smart.
Who was it, John?
Terry.
Terry, you get John. That means John, you get Jim. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Brent, what's the question of the day?
All right, guys. Wild card weekend just officially wrapped up last night with the Rams and Vikings. Today's question: can you name the 6 leading rushers in the NFL after wild card weekend? So we're looking for the top 6 rushers
from this weekend.
Playoffs. Playoffs from this weekend.
All right, John, you're up first. What's your first guess? You do have a lifeline, which is me, if you want to use it.
I'm going to say Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry on the list.
Always a good guess.
Yeah, Terry, you're up next. What is your first guess? Do you have a lifeline if you want to use it?
Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley, good guess.
Okay.
John, back to you. What is your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
I'll use the lifeline.
I am gonna go. Let me think here real quick. I'm gonna go Joe Mixon. Do you take that?
Yes.
Look at you, Jim.
Yeah, I know my football.
Wow, it's that new TV.
Yeah, even though I've had it for less than 24
Must
hours.
have AI.
Terry, you're up next. What is your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Oh shoot. Oh God, I'll take a lifeline.
That's me.
Okay, John.
All right, hold on.
Process of elimination.
Okay, so 12 teams played.
Yes, John.
I'm just doing some math in my head, thinking about who played football over the weekend. I have a bad guess that I don't think is right. But top 6?
5 seconds.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson, do you take that? You can choose something else if you want. You can choose something else if you want, Terry.
No, it's actually I was thinking of him because he's rushed for I think he's rushed for over 800 yards this year.
Did he do that this weekend? I mean, he's on the list. He's on the 800 yards on Saturday. That's awesome. A huge game.
Huge game for him. John, back to you. What is your final guess? You do not have a lifeline, so this is all up to you.
I'm gonna say James Cook.
James Cook,
is he on the list?
Boom!
Who's that quarterback we left at like last week? He's like,
who?
Ronnie Anderson.
Or like DeBerg or something? I don't know.
Anyway, all right.
Terry, to force overtime, what is your final guess? And you don't have a lifeline, so it's all up to you.
And there's only one rusher left.
Yeah, this is it.
And they're still in the playoffs?
No, they don't have to be.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Okay. Bijan Robinson.
Bijan Robinson for the tie? No!
He did not make the playoffs, no. Well, that's not a bad guess. He actually picked a player that actually is playing in the NFL this year.
What do you mean? But he didn't play this weekend.
No, I know he didn't. But
there was no chance.
What was the quarterback that last week or yesterday or whatever?
What?
The quarterback that we were talking about moments ago.
We were cracking up. That guy played 62 that played 2 games.
Yeah.
Most career touchdown passes.
Yeah, 2 career.
I don't know. We were cracking up. Someone put in the chat if they know. All right, who did we miss, Brent?
Josh Jacobs.
Oh, he was a beast among men.
And it's 81 yards.
Yeah.
He was a beast.
He was really good. He was putting the team on his back, yo.
Yeah, he put the Eagles on his back, except they lost.
No.
All right. So congratulations to our winner. Who won?
John,
congratulations. You've got 2 free tickets to see the Aztecs and UNLV Saturday at 5 p.m. Viejas Arena, San Diego State, UNLV. Tickets at goaztecs.com. Again, goaztecs.com. Are you ready for the divisional round, Jim, coming up?
Are you ready for the divisional round coming up, John?
Yeah, I am. 4 huge games.
Without looking, name me all the games.
Okay. Let me try to do it. Seriously. You have Chiefs-Texans.
Ding.
You have Eagles-Rams on Sunday. I know I skipped a game.
Ding.
You have Ravens-Bills.
Ding.
So I just gave you AFC, which means there's still NFC, which means you have Lions against another football team. The Commanders.
Ding.
That'll be Saturday night. Detroit, Michigan. For the first time ever, the Lions are the top seed in the NFC.
Correct.
It's a must-win.
Also correct.
And then the winners of those games play in the AFC and NFC title games.
Also correct.
And then the winners of those games play in the Super Bowl.
Also correct.
And then the winner of that game, that's it. They win.
Correct.
All the good stuff.
All the trophies.
All right, here's what we're going to do on the other side. We haven't gotten to the wrap. We'll do that in the 5 o'clock hour. If you missed Kyle Glazer, formerly Baseball America, great insight on Roki. You'll hear that coming up around 5:30. We have Jim's back page still ahead. Aztec pregame at 7 p.m. San Diego State, Colorado State at 8 o'clock tonight with Ted Leitner on the call. So a lot to get to. Final hour of Jon and Jim, then Aztec pregame coverage coming up at 7 p.m. We've got you covered. Hour 4 of Jon and Jim. Hour 4 of Jon and Jim. That's next.
This update is brought to you by unbound.org. San Diego State, Colorado State tonight at Viejas Arena, 8 p.m. tip time, 7 p.m. pregame. Listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
It's Jon and Jim to warm up that drive home.
I think that he's meeting with the Dodgers for a second time. That was an inevitability. He was always going to meet with the Dodgers a second time. Now, I always wanted to be the closer. Being second to the Blue Jays was good, and I didn't know where the Dodgers were in there. The fact that the Dodgers are the closer, I don't love that.
I'm terrified by that. The international signings and the fact that the Dodgers get the last crack at Roki. You always want to be the last team to meet with that player. You just do.
Now, time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour of Jon and Jim here until 6. If you missed our conversation with Kyle Glazer, formerly Baseball America, you'll hear it coming up at 5:30. Great insight on Roki. International signing period opens tomorrow. Roki can sign as soon as tomorrow. He must sign by January 23rd. We learned today, Jim, he is meeting a second time with the LA Dodgers. You just heard that in the open. The Dodgers reportedly were rolling out red carpets, bringing their star players to this supposed final meeting. We learned yesterday the Padres had met with him in person, Roki. He threw on field. We saw Yu Darvish, AJ Preller, and more, Joe Musgrove. So now we're just left to ponder and wait, and we just decipher every tweet in the world, from Buster Olney to Ken Rosenthal to Steve Phillips. Whatever's put out there, we either say the sky is falling or he's going to end up in San Diego. There's no in between.
Full show e-break. Mark B and SD told me and reminded me Roman Gabriel was the quarterback.
We were like, who are the best quarterbacks in NFL history? And then the answer was like, Roman Gabriel?
Like, what?
I know he has 2 starts in the postseason. That's not enough.
No, that's not even close. So thank you, Mark
Roman
B.
Gabriel.
Yeah, Roman Gabriel. Okay. Now I've got.
Is he going to sign?
Maybe.
Is he available?
So what is the latest, Jon?
Well, I think the latest tweet that we deciphered was Buster Olney within the hour. And he's like, he prefers a small market or playing with amazing stars in LA.
Oh, okay. So either or.
There was that. There was Fabian, is it Ardaya, who tweeted out earlier, he broke the news that he would meet with LA
He's
today.
Dialed in, by the way.
He's dialed in.
He's a very good source.
Dialed in, and he reported initially the Dodgers would meet with Roki again today, and stars would be there. Of course, all their players are basically stars.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the real latest. Ken Rosenthal predicted today that he would end up with the Dodgers, but then quote tweeted himself and said, it's just a guess.
Everything
had to guess.
Right now.
Right.
Everything's a guess. But the good news is, like, we are coming to an end of this sweepstakes. And hopefully it means he lands with the Padres, because, like, it will be a very abrupt ending if he chooses the Dodgers. Like, we won't really discuss Roki that much until they face potentially Roki against the Dodgers.
Are you kind of getting sentimental like I am? I'm kind of sad that this is coming to an end, man.
This is the end of our long journey.
What are we supposed to do?
I don't know. Probably.
I'm not talking Bucks Pelicans. I'm just not. I just don't want to.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll find other things.
I mean, the Super Bowl is coming up.
The Super Bowl is coming up.
Spring training, pitchers and catchers. You saw what Darnay tweeted?
Yeah.
They're going to report this year.
Thanks, Darnay. Appreciate that. They're actually going to play. They're going to play baseball, right?
Yes.
Oh, cool. We'll get countless videos from spring training, endless amounts of videos from players talking about absolutely nothing that matters.
JB Wendelhecken or whatever will be throwing.
It's just spring training videos and all of the, like, Manny Machado on the backfield. And
are you anti that?
I am so.
Are you anti Manny's never come into camp in better shape? Are you against that too? What about, you know how we get all like excited about the first game? Remember last year Musgrove allowed like 30 runs to Dodgers in spring training?
Yeah, that worked
in the
out
opener.
well.
But then come game 2, Tony Gwynn opening day spring training. Those box scores, man, they're tough to get through. There's like 28 guys to play.
Yeah.
A-ball, double-A.
And they're not going to Korea this year, so
correct.
Their season won't start earlier than everyone else's.
That's right. Who does? Dodgers Cubs?
Dodgers Cubs in Japan.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, spring training, it's great for the first week. And then it just becomes so boring.
Yes, it drags on.
It drags and it drags unless they make a move.
The Dylan Cease thing was huge.
That happened right before Korea, though.
Yeah, they were on their way to Korea.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about the fact that the Dodgers opened in Japan.
I did too, because I just don't follow like the Dodgers schedule.
Like, that's not a factor here, is it?
Wasn't a factor for them last year.
I mean, they got Yamamoto and Ohtani.
What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying, like, does Roki want to play in front of home fans to start his tenure in the majors? Just kind of a feather in a cap?
Maybe. Is it what, 2 games?
2 games, yeah.
Probably won't be starting either one of those games.
I guess not. I mean, he could. It doesn't even matter.
We're already slotting
They're going to
Roki in
win
the
110
rotation.
games. They can start whoever they want.
Yeah, it's like their rotation with Roki is just stupid. Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani, Roki Sasaki. Who is it? Trevor May?
Missing like 6, yeah.
Who else? I mean, like, it's ridiculous. Kershaw's back.
Yeah, he's back, yeah.
They lost Walker Buehler, but that's fine.
They still have Ryan River.
Oh, Ryan River. Yeah, I remember that guy.
Yeah. No,
Gavin Stone or something, or whatever his name is.
Here's the real legitimate gripe. Now, I've pushed back on this, but here's the real legitimate difference. They can easily go 6-man. I don't think a team has to go 6-man rotation to get Roki. I think there's so many built-in off days. It's not that hard. Yeah, what did you say, Trevor?
I always say Trevor May. I don't know why. It's Dustin May.
Right. Thanks for costing
redheaded
again.
Guy.
But like, they can easily go 6-man rotation. You just listed like 8 starters.
Tony Gonsolin.
So they can easily go 6, where the Padres might be hard pressed to go 6. Right?
No.
Yes.
If they don't trade Dylan Cease, the rotation could be this.
You still got Randy Vasquez and
hear me out.
Matt Waldron.
Hear me out.
Okay.
Opening day starter is who? King or Cease? To me, it's King.
It's fine. Yeah, whomever. That's great.
Michael King's your opening day starter.
Yep.
Dylan Cease, game 2.
Okay.
Yu Darvish, game 3.
Favored in all 3 of those.
Roki Sasaki, game 4.
Favored.
Matt Waldron, game 5.
Underdogs.
Randy Vasquez, game 6.
Right.
Yes.
No, you can do that.
Yes.
No,
yes.
Certainly you can do that.
And Matt Waldron was good for half a season last year. Randy Vasquez was,
but look at this.
I know.
Let me show you. No, you don't, because what I'm showing you is
off days. Yeah,
you have an off day every week. Look, in April, they're off Thursday,
Must be nice.
Monday. The point is it that hard to go 6-man when you're off every 7th day? I think you can get creative. In fact, the issue with going 6-man here with an off day every week is you're pitching every 7th day.
Yeah. Okay.
And you're just off.
But you want that to start your season. You want to ease guys into it in your rotation. You do.
I buy that.
You don't want to go
Look at this.
100% of the time when you start the season.
All they do is have off days. It's going to take them 4 years to play.
And let me guess. Every one of their games is like 4:30.
Yeah, this year perfect. And ended 5:59. I'm just saying that with the way Major League Baseball schedules, you don't need to go 6-man rotation to give them 5 days.
I don't care.
I do.
And then I don't care. I'll figure it out. I'm not going to sit here and twiddle my thumbs and be like,
I am.
Well, Randy Vasquez is the 6th starter and blah blah blah. Yeah, I'll talk about it, but I don't care. Just like Roki's here. Like, figure it out. And that's they'll
figure what out. Oh yeah, I agree. Figure it out. I completely agree. 5-man, 6-man. I completely agree. And I have very realistic. I'm not counting up for 32 starts. I think 125, 150 innings is realistic. I think he could be a difference maker in his first year. I don't think he's the style of the I think that he's a young pitcher that hopefully comes into some way in 2025 and beyond. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I just think he's had a benefit for the Dodgers that they can immediately go to 6-man rotation. I think some people would tell you that's an advantage that they're set up for 6-man rotation. That's all. Well, what's it yet? I don't know. What about the video? video you posted unceremoniously
of
him throwing yesterday that's been taken off the internet.
This one
you just retweeted of what?
I showed you it.
Yeah, I didn't know you retweeted that. All right, so you retweeted a video of Roki Sasaki from like close in working out, confirming Roki.
Yes, I already knew it was Roki.
I know, but this like further confirms it, right?
Oh yeah, again,
it's like a close up.
The people out there that are like, I'm not gonna speculate, and I don't know.
Who is that?
I'm just throwing it out there. Like, I don't know if that's really him or not. I'm not gonna speculate.
I love your
blah
like
blah 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 blah
whiny
blah, blah.
like other media member sounding.
Oh, it's yeah. It was Roki. All right, stop trying to be like political here. Stop. It's Roki. Like,
I'm not going to take sides in this.
Yeah, it's Roki. All right,
100% Roki.
Like, stop it.
100% Roki.
God.
The wrap coming up. We'll also get to our conversation with Kyle Glazer. I mean, for real insight, you're going to want to hear Kyle. Like, he provided real insight, the international slot money.
He's on top of it, man.
How this is playing out. He gives the Padres a very realistic shot. You're going to want to hear it. If you missed it, Kyle Glazer used to be with Baseball America. So you're going to want to hear that coming up at 5:30. We have Jim's back page still to get to. Aztec pregame, by the way, tonight is at 7 p.m. Bit of a late start for the Aztecs, 8 o'clock. After the 10 a.m. start.
I was a little surprised by that, but I'm okay with the later start.
You're fine with it.
I don't.
It's not a big deal for you.
All right. What? This is a random question. What time does Kristen like go to bed?
6. Okay. I mean, 8:50.
Yeah. Like, is
Is Aaron in bed early?
Oh, dude. Once the clock hits 9 p.m.
She's like, I'm out.
It's bedtime.
I know, dude.
But
we're like night owls, me and you.
Yeah. And like our living room in proximity to our bedroom, it's like right next to each other.
Yeah.
You have a situation which is much easier where you like
upstairs, downstairs.
Yeah, it's easy. Now Jones is downstairs, whatever. Mm-hmm. But like an 8 o'clock game,
she's not making it.
No chance.
See, I can't sleep through a game that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Now, Aaron's not like a diehard like.
No, but
fan.
Like around at my house, Bentley is programmed that when mommy goes to sleep,
he's going to sleep.
Bentley goes to sleep, and that's like right around 9:30. So I could be up. It's like 9:45, and it feels like at my house like 1 a.m. Just like because all the lights are out, and she's in bed, Bentley's in bed,
right?
Everything's like done for the night. So it's a weird, I don't know. Yeah, 8 p.m. It's a late start time or late start time. And so.
No, I'm with you on that. Yeah. For whatever reason, I get it. Like when you work and you got kids, which you don't have.
No.
Like I'm tired. I'm tired at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I haven't even started my day.
Yeah. And her schedule, I mean, she's up and working like 8:30, 9 a.m.
Right. And you're like sleeping.
Right. I don't have to worry about that.
All right. Matt is on line 4. He has a question for you. 877-767-4760. Matt, thanks for calling in. You're on with Jon and Jim.
What's on, gentlemen? So earlier today, I mistakenly confused Ben's living situation with Jim's living situation and confused the lives, the 49er fans and Eagles fan, not Packers fans. So I was calling him out. But Ben cannot watch playoff football this weekend because it is his wife's now birthday. How would you gentlemen handle the situation so you could still live in your house but also still see football this weekend?
Good question, Matt. If the Eagles are on, we're 1,000% watching because she's got to watch her Eagles. She was stressing this weekend watching the game. Niners are on, we're watching Niners football. That not changing. Other NFL playoff games, like there's like the big games at night, we'll watch. But if there's something going on during the day, it depends. Like
Texans Chiefs, do you add on if it's Aaron's birthday Saturday?
If it's Aaron's birthday Saturday, I'm out on Texans Chiefs because I don't have any ties to either game. If it's the Super Bowl, we are 100% in on the Super Bowl.
Right.
That's not changing. But like 2 o'clock Texans Chargers start time.
Right.
If we got stuff to do, we got stuff to do. I know your answer.
I'm just gonna watch. I mean, it depends on what the sport is. With the NFL, I'll.
But if it's your wife's birthday, if it's Kristen's birthday,
I mean,
she has plans.
I get in a lot of trouble over that, though.
Yeah, there's some people like I know he's talking about Fletch. Fletch is a psycho, and he's got to watch every single second of the football. But it's his wife's birthday, so I mean, the Niners aren't in it, buddy. So you shouldn't really like
care that much.
Yeah, but the NFL is only like 20 weeks, and she has a birthday every year.
Okay.
I don't know. I think most people, by and large, even if they're celebrating a birthday, still probably throw the TV on and watch a game. But I get it. You have plans. I get it.
Like I do love the NFL. I love a big primetime game.
Right.
But I've over the years have gotten to like we're watching Eagles in the house, we're watching 49ers in the house, and we'll watch the primetime game. I'm not sitting there like searching out, I got to watch this Commanders Dallas game like in its entirety, unless it's like a playoff game or a big time, primetime game like Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football.
Sure.
Right.
All right,
Christmas game.
Let's get to the wrap. On the other side, Kyle Glazer at 5:30. We haven't done the wrap. It's next, Jon Jim. Aztecs back tonight. Colorado State, Viejas Arena. Pregame coverage at 7. Ted's got the tip around 8 on your home, the Aztec San Diego Sports 760. If you missed Kyle Glazer earlier, you'll hear him coming up at 5:30.
Correct.
Hi, Jim.
Hi.
All right, so here until 6. We haven't gotten to the wrap for whatever reason.
Just so much to talk about today.
Not enough time.
Not enough time, John.
Do we need a longer amount of time per day?
No.
Maybe
I'm campaigning for 5 hours.
5 hours.
How about 6?
Right. Because that's an even number. 6 times 5, 30 hours a week.
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect.
How about 8?
Yeah, 40 hours a week.
There we go.
I love that.
How many hours are in a day?
24.
There we go.
24 hours a day.
It's never leaves.
We don't need sleep or
Yeah,
leave.
I love that. All right, let's get to the wrap.
I don't.
It's time for the wrap, presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
How much should Sam Darnold get in free agency this offseason?
Well, the number that was thrown around by like Colin was like 50 million, 60 million. Stop. I think the Baker contract,
which was,
I think like 30 million a year. I think it was like 3 years.
90 or 100.
I don't remember, but it wasn't like a crazy bad deal.
Right.
No, it was actually a good deal. I mean,
He got 3 year 100.
Okay.
33 a year.
Yeah, three for 100. Sounds about right.
I think you should get the Donovan Solano deal, like 1 for 3.5.
But where? Now the question is like,
Where's he going to be?
Where's he going to go that has everything in place for him, like it was in Minnesota?
Well, great point. And here's the other thing: he's not going back, so he's gone. And you're right. Is he going to win at that level elsewhere? You had a QB guru, great offensive coach in Kevin O'Connell, put together a really nice regular season. I'm with you. I think we'll look at this season more as a one-off. I think he could be like a solid middle-of-the-road starting quarterback for an average team.
So
they don't need him. They have Daniel Jones.
That's right.
Yeah.
How about 4 for 100?
But where though?
NFL.
The only team that I could see if they don't land a quarterback and they need something,
right?
Las Vegas.
Just a bad team. Is
I know.
He really gonna
I know.
Elevate them.
Las Vegas or, I mean, Indy, but they got Anthony Richardson. They got to figure out. Like those are the two teams where I look at right now that I'm like, okay, New Orleans.
It's not going to go as well as it just went.
Nope.
It's not.
Nope. That is the problem with this, that everyone thought that he was going to get all this money. And you're like, well, if it's not Minnesota,
which is not
Minnesota, then it's going to be where?
Minnesota.
You have no idea what I'm referring to.
No, it's fun to say.
Well, that's why lots of people are saying that maybe they should just franchise tag him and see if he can actually duplicate it
Probably.
for more than 1 year in a row.
When's JJ going to get a chance?
A couple years from
2027.
When his Achilles is.
He also have Daniel Jones too.
Good point.
Good quarterback
great.
room.
That's great. Next question.
Here's the obligatory: is tonight a must-win game for the Aztecs?
Oh, great
That's a
question.
really good
Great question. Yeah, you don't want to lose back-to-back games, and you're at home. You're favored tonight. You can't, like you said, you can't turn New Mexico that loss into 2 losses. You got to win tonight. It's a must-win game.
I think it's very close to a must-win, which means it's basically a must-win. I mean, there's so much basketball still left. Could they overcome it? Yeah, probably, but the trend lines wouldn't be good if they lost at home to Colorado State. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think they'll have to play well, really well, truthfully, to win this game tonight. I think they're fully capable of doing that. So it's close to a must-win tonight, and if you're an Aztec fan, you got tickets, get there early and be loud. This is a critical game for San Diego State. It really is. Next question.
Will Roki Sasaki be an all-star in either of his first 2 seasons in the majors?
Yes.
I buy that. Would you say year 2?
I would say year 2. And yeah, I would
More
say
likely than year 1.
Hey man, though.
It's possible. I'm on board.
Yeah.
It's possible. No, I'm with you. I think he could absolutely be an all-star his first 2 years. I would say the second year is more likely. But yeah, I'm with you. I think there's a possibility.
And what we've seen in baseball recently is phenom superstar players.
Yep.
They don't have to have like gaudy first halves. but if they put up numbers that are warranted, they're going to make an all-star team. Like Paul Skeens started the game last year.
Sure.
And in maybe other seasons he doesn't make it because he started later than, being with the team and not from day one.
Right.
To manipulate his clock, even though it didn't work. I could see it happening in the first 2 years. Yeah.
I agree. Next question.
Okay.
Do you guys think Deion Sanders would make a good NFL head coach?
No.
I'm with Jim.
We were watching this video during the break. Deion implemented new rules at Colorado.
Yeah, no slides.
Can you imagine him trying to implement all these rules for an NFL team?
I mean, I kind of could, truthfully. It is Deion Sanders. I don't know how it'd be received.
I don't think it would be
poorly.
received well. Millionaire players, like I can't wear what?
I think it would be way more hype than substance, would be my guess. I think he could be an average NFL head coach. I don't think he'd be an elite NFL head coach.
The only way that he becomes a good head coach is if he has good coordinators
All the people around him. Yep.
And could that happen? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the head coaches now, give me one that wasn't like a coordinator or at least like a tight ends coach or a linebackers coach or a special teams coach. Like Deion's done nothing besides. I mean, yeah, he's the head coach of Colorado, but before that, he was just a guy.
The whole thing with Deion is I don't think his stick is going to work in the NFL. I think when you have a bunch of kids,
it works.
It's going to work because they're going to be like, oh God, look, it's Coach Prime, and they're going to, be in awe of Deion. When you're trying to do that with, a bunch of 28-year-olds and 30-year-olds that have millions and millions of dollars and just ain't having it, I don't think they're going to put up with that. Especially if, the rumors are, oh, well, he would go there if they would draft his son. They're definitely not going to put up with the stuff like he did this year to where it's like, oh, yeah, we're not going to play the Colorado fight song this year if my son throws a touchdown. We're going to play his rap music instead. Could you imagine if he did that, in Dallas? And it's like, oh, yeah, we're going to forsake this, Dallas tradition we've done forever to play Shador's rap song.
I like that. I think that'd be good. Yeah, I think that rap song could be the difference in the Cowboys getting to their first Super Bowl in 30 years or not.
It could be.
All right. On the other side, Kyle Glazer used to be with Baseball America. Great baseball voice. We had him on earlier. You'll hear our conversation centered around Roki Sasaki. That'll come your way next on Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Unbound.org. San Diego State takes on Colorado State tonight at Viejas Arena, 8 p.m. tip time, 7 p.m. pregame right here on San Diego Sports 760. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
All right, Kyle Glazer joined us earlier. If you missed the conversation, and he is a great resource for baseball fans. Used to be with Baseball America, covers the Padres and Dodgers incredibly well. He's up in LA right now. We started the conversation by asking him about everything going on right now in LA and thanking him for coming on.
Yeah, my pleasure. We're fortunate that the Flames didn't get to our house, but also there's a lot of people out here who it's been a rough week. So, I would encourage everyone to support, donate in any way they can.
No doubt about it. Absolutely. Well, we're glad to hear you are doing well. Kyle Glazer, again, great baseball voice with us again on Jon and Jim. Where do you think this stands? I've seen some of your tweets. International money from the team still standing in these sweepstakes for Roki with Toronto and San Diego and Los Angeles. How do you see this right now as we're about 24 hours out from when this posting period opens, or even less than that? What do you think is most likely in the days ahead?
From the outset of when it was announced that he was coming over to the U.S. this year, that his team was going to post him, the overwhelming belief within the industry is that the Dodgers and Padres were the two front runners, two favorites. I had one evaluator back in December tell me that they thought that it was the Dodgers that were maybe just a hair ahead, and I had another tell me that the Dodgers and Padres were neck and neck. So the fact that the Dodgers and Padres are two finalists is not a surprise. The Blue Jays are a bit of a surprise finalist. They are not a team that a lot of people felt like would have a great shot at landing him going through this process. So clearly, whether it was during the conversations with the front office or visiting the city of Toronto, in some ways they're a bit of a late entrant to the fact that they're a finalist. Clearly they said or did something that really impressed him. That said, I do think it will come down to the Dodgers and Padres. I would put it at probably 49% each of them.
Wow.
It's going to be a narrow margin, and ultimately it really is just going to come down to where he feels most comfortable.
So we've been talking a lot about what is the number one thing for Roki whenever he decides where he's going to go. I say that it's where he feels like he can be developed the best. Do you believe that?
Well, it's never just one thing. I would say the
top reason, the top reason.
Yeah, it's well, I'd say there's going to be two top reasons. One, where does he feel like he can become the best possible pitcher he can be, which, you're right on it. Where can he get to that next level and really develop best? And second is, where is he comfortable? This is a huge transition anytime you're coming to a new country. And I think a lot of times people kind of underestimate how much that weighs on certain players and affects their decision. So first and foremost, yes, it's going to be what team does he feel like gives him the best chance to be the best version of himself and win. And then on top of that, where does he feel most comfortable, embarking on this next stage of his, not just his career, but his life.
Kyle Glazer with us right now on Jon and Jim. Well, Kyle, what are your expectations for Roki wherever he lands in 2025? What would you expect maybe from an innings perspective and an overall efficiency perspective in his first year?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with him is the expectation is he will be somewhere between 100 to 150 innings. That's just even if he stays healthy. He's never thrown more than 129 third innings in his career, and that was a few seasons ago in Japan. So really, he's a guy that's going to give you just absolute electricity. It's going to be, in some ways it might be kind of Tyler Glasnow-ish, where you may only get 120 innings, 130 innings, but it's going to be absolute fire. I think that's what you kind of expect the first year. And then moving into future years, he continues to build innings, gets bigger, gets stronger. People forget he just turned 23. He still has some physical development ahead. And that's a big part of wherever he goes next is who can help him get to that next level, get bigger, get strong, get more durable. Durability is what's going to help him get to the next level. He doesn't need a whole lot of pitch optimization or stuff improvements. Durability is what's going to get him there.
Can you explain to us how this could turn into I think the word I saw was like international signing Armageddon with the teams that are, in on Roki, because if the reports are true that he won't make a decision until the 20th or so, I mean, that 5-day period and window, like that's going to be a brutal window for these teams that are in on Roki that might not know if they're going to land him or not. Can you just explain to everybody like how that could be a problem?
Sure. So the international signing period opens January 15th, and teams generally reach agreements with the prospects they're going to sign years in advance. So in some cases, they've had a verbal commitment to a kid for $2 million here, $1 million there, $1.5 million there. And they've essentially allocated what their whole signing bonus pool is going to be. On January 15th, they pretty much know who they're signing and for how much. There's not a lot of surprises on signing day. But with Roki Sasaki, a lot of teams are saying we need to keep all of our international bonus pool money set aside for him. So these verbal agreements they've made with these teenagers and these trainers for, in some cases 1 or 2 years ahead of time, all of a sudden it's like, hey, hold on, we need to reserve our money for Roki Sasaki if he comes to sign with us. So you could have an international signing class of 10, 20 kids all of a sudden that are irritated with you because you promised them money and now you're backing out of it. And the trainers are going to be ticked as well and not feel too good about, the fact you essentially are pulling your offer from his players. So, a team like the Dodgers or Padres that's going to be holding out their national money, if say Roki Sasaki signs with the Dodgers and the Padres hadn't moved to sign any of their kids who they committed money to because they had to keep it reserved for Roki Sasaki, all of a sudden January 20th could come around and Roki Sasaki is in another uniform and all the kids the Padres struck agreements with have gone and signed with other teams because they weren't sure they were going to get their money from the Padres, and that would leave the Padres without much international signing class. That's how it would unfold, whether it's the Padres, Dodgers, or Blue Jays. That is a risk they all face.
So basically, it's like a high limit poker. Like you're running the risk of if you don't sign Sasaki, you could lose out on all your international signings. Or if you do sign Sasaki, then obviously that's the best case scenario.
Again, and that's where he is worth it. At the end of the day, this is the best pitcher in the world that is not currently in Major League Baseball, and someone who has a chance, if he stays healthy, to be one of the top 5 or 6 pitchers in the major leagues at his peak, be a true number 1 starter who starts game 1 of a World Series for you and lights the other team up. So that's a risk worth taking for a talent like this, but it is a consideration.
Kyle Glazer with us right now on Jon and Jim. Kyle, I'm curious to get your thoughts on, would a team without knowing that Roki is going to sign with them, let's just say San Diego and LA, we get to the 15th, would San Diego, without the benefit of knowing where he's going to land, all of a sudden start acquiring international money in your estimation just in case? Or would they need some type of indicator from the player? Or is that a sign of good faith? Hey, we are acquiring international money, even though we don't have an assurance that you're coming here.
Teams are going to be acquiring the international money, regardless of any indications from him. It's about putting themselves in the best possible positions. And there's no downside to acquiring international signing money if, he ends up signing somewhere else. There are always some guys who pop up later in the international signing class. So, I go back to Shohei Ohtani in 2017. The Angels made some trades to acquire international signing pool money in the days leading up to him announcing where he was going to sign. But so did the Seattle Mariners. Other teams that were interested made moves to put themselves in the best possible position. And that was, they didn't have any indication where he was going. The Angels didn't know where he was going either until they got the phone call. So it's just something you do to put yourself in the best possible position. And there's not a ton of downside as long as you don't trade away a really, really good prospect for that international signing bonus money.
Of the 3 finalists, do you agree that the Padres are the team that needs him the most?
Yes, when you look at the fact that they are not going to have Joe Musgrove in their starting rotation, look, it really is this simple. If they sign Roki Sasaki, they are once again a playoff contender on the strength of their starting rotation. You look at Yu Darvish, Dylan Cease, Roki Sasaki, Michael King. That's one of the top rotations in baseball in terms of the top 4. If they don't sign him, all of a sudden you're looking at 3 guys you feel really good about and 2 spots at the back end you have question marks on, without, a ton of financial wiggle room to play with. And we've seen in the past, the Padres have had plenty iterations of teams with 3 good starters and the back end of the rotation's a mess, and that can really sink you. I really do think that signing Roki Sasaki is the difference between the Padres being a World Series contender again versus maybe a team that struggles to make the playoffs.
That's fascinating. Kyle Glazer's with us right now. What else do they need to do, Kyle? I mean, they've been so eerily quiet. I think they signed Tyler Wade to a major league deal months ago for about $1 million. I mean, where do you see the Padres right now, irregardless of Roki, as they move forward into 2025?
Look, they need a catcher, they need a left fielder, and they, if they don't get Roki Sasaki, they probably need some veteran starting pitching depth in the event that, some of the young guys aren't quite ready to give you a full season's worth of quality innings. So they have a lot of needs, but Roki Sasaki, just being the star he is someone that if you add him to your team, you get that much better right away.
Kyle, always appreciate it. Be well, stay safe, and we'll talk more baseball with you in the weeks ahead. But thank you for doing it in San Diego.
Thanks, Kyle.
Sounds good. My pleasure, guys.
All right, always great to connect with Kyle Glazer from Baseball America. All he said was, they land him. They're a World Series contender. They might not make the playoffs. It's not a big deal.
No, fine.
Just that variance, World Series contender, or miss the postseason.
Honestly, do you feel like if they don't land Roki this week, that it will mean that this season won't be good?
No, I don't.
Or this season has more likelihood of it not being good.
No, but I do feel as if they keep falling further behind the 8 ball. True, that happens.
I'm with you. Finally, before we get the break here, I do have odds according to bookies.com.
Let's get to that on the other side.
Okay.
Yes, let's do it on the other side. That's next. All right, before Jim's backstage, again, Aztecs basketball tonight at 7 with our pregame coverage. 8 o'clock is the tip-off. San Diego State, Colorado State. Jim has some odds on Roki. Part of the backstage. Okay. Good. All right. The odds for Roki Sasaki as of right now are the Dodgers at minus 200 to land them, 2-1. Padres plus 200 to land them. Okay. The Blue Jays at plus 400. Okay, so Dodgers actually 1-2. Padres 2-1. Blue Jays 4-1.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you make of that? Anything?
It's in line with everything that people have said for months on end. Dodgers are the favorite.
That they are, John. That they are.
Where are the Rockies in that?
They did not get on the list.
Plus 500.
They did not get on the list. Big news today as Comic-Con and San Diego announced a new agreement through 2027.
Let's go.
Fans, creators, businesses together while generating over $160 million economy in San Diego. The partnership for Comic-Con will last through 2027.
That's pretty big.
Very big, yeah. The mayor said Comic-Con is a part of San Diego's identity. I couldn't be more thrilled to announce that it will remain here through 2027.
Love that.
Quote, the event is not just a celebration of creativity and fandom. It's a major economic driver for our city, supporting local businesses and showcasing San Diego on a global stage. We're proud to continue this incredible partnership. Look forward to welcoming fans from all over the world. It attracts well over 135,000 people each year on average. And he's absolutely right. Comic-Con is massive. Have you ever been down?
Yeah, I have.
When Comic-Con was happening?
I have, yes.
The place is a zoo.
Amazing.
It's a huge thing for San Diego. I'm glad it's staying here through 2027.
Absolutely.
Before today, Comic-Con had confirmed plans to continue only through 2026, but now the agreement is through 2027. I tend to think that if something doesn't happen to the convention center,
it'll eventually leave.
I don't know. But if Comic-Con is going to stay here for the foreseeable future, you got to get better facilities downtown.
You can't lose Comic-Con.
No, you can't.
You can't lose that. Come on. You're losing professional sports teams. You're losing Comic-Con. You got to hold on to something.
Yeah, it's
right.
It's again something that is a part of the identity of this city. Truly, Comic-Con, San Diego. That's just how I view it. Ever since I've been here, Comic-Con's been a big thing in San Diego. I've been to like 3 or 4 Comic-Cons. I've gone with Brent's gone to a couple. If it leaves and it goes somewhere else, that's on the city.
Right.
So, Valentine's Day is coming up in exactly 1 month, John.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
All I want is Roki.
I do too. I want to give Roki flowers.
Roki roses.
And some Hershey chocolate kisses.
Yeah.
And maybe take them out to dinner.
Right.
Here are the best Valentine Day heart-themed food options that you could go and get. All right. Krispy Kreme is going to be selling heart-shaped donuts. Krispy Kreme is back with their signature heart-shaped donuts, perfect for satisfying your sweet tooth with a festive twist.
Okay.
Dunkin', it will be releasing Cupid Choice Donuts and Brownie Batter Donuts in heart shapes, available starting on January 29th. Dunkin's Valentine's Day's lineup features 2 fan favorites that are as cute as they are tasty. Chick-fil-A is coming out with heart-shaped tins that will be arriving early February. These heart-shaped trays will be filled with either nuggets, cookies, or chicken minis.
Okay. I'm watching.
John is not
No,
listening.
I'm not listening to you.
What are you watching?
I'm watching Jones play lacrosse.
Okay.
Oops. And it's basically my back page.
I'll continue to talk while you don't pay attention.
Yeah. That's
Popeyes will be releasing strawberry heart-shaped biscuits. Papa John's heart-shaped pizza, expected to debut in the second week of February. 7-Eleven will also be having heart-shaped pizzas as well. No need to wait. 7-Eleven's heart-shaped pizzas, they're available now.
So be on the lookout for all those heart-shaped festive treats for Valentine's Day.
I'm going to be looking out for hearts.
You're going to be looking out?
Yes.
All right. There you go.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
Come on, man.
I got a Roki odds update. I got Valentine's Day food update, and I got Comic-Con staying in San Diego. How you done?
That's pretty big. Comic-Con, big. But they got to figure something out long term. I'm with you on that.
Yep.
Aztecs tonight, 8 o'clock.
What is your plans? Are you going? What are you doing? Because you
I
can't
have
go
pregame
home.
at 7.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm going to get out of here. I park. I go in. I go upstairs. I get food on the concourse. There's a Mexican spot. I use my food coupon.
Oh, must be nice.
I hate you. Have you ever used the food coupon at Viejas? When's the last time you were at Viejas? When you were 19?
I don't think I've ever got a food coupon.
Have you ever been there?
I've been there, John. I've used a food coupon, yes. Got a hot dog and a soda and chips.
I'm sure you'll be tweeting about it tonight from the 760 account.
Well, I'm not here working, so.
You should make it out to a game.
You could be. You want to stay here and do highlights?
Nope.
You want to do highlights?
Let me nope.
Or do you want to engineer? Sammy can have the night off.
Nope.
It could be me and you pregame. Forget about Fletch. Sorry, Fletch, if you're listening.
Nope.
You just want to go home, hang out with Bentley and Aaron?
Yep.
What are you going to eat?
We have chicken noodle soup with honey biscuits.
Chicken noodle soup with honey biscuits? Doesn't make sense.
How does that make sense? I was making it in the crock.
All of it?
No, I cooked the biscuits.
Yes, Johnny threw the biscuits in there with the soup. They're all mushy.
I don't feel like a soup. Oh, I was thinking air fryer. I was like, I don't think a soup is an air fryer. It is a crock pot.
Yes.
Chicken noodle soup?
No, John. Flamin' John.
John?
Flamin' John.
All right. As they pregame at 7 p.m., if you missed anything, sorry. Come on, John. We're back tomorrow, too. This is San Diego 476.